14 in their last 27 games. So that's concerning for those folks. We were glad that we saw a win and a loss, and then we left Sunday. We left yesterday to come back to Tucson, but the Tribe won yesterday, so the Tribe took 2 out of 3 for the weekend. So happy about that. We took some of our youngsters to the game, some of our preteens and under-teens who had never really been to very many baseball games. If any one of our youngsters had never been to a baseball game before, kids just don't follow baseball the way that I did growing up. It's like I'm like sitting. I'm standing there because we had standing room only tickets. I'm standing there trying to explain everything to them. It's just by their age, I was the one explaining the game to the adults.
You had your scorecard you were filling out.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
But kids today, they're just not wired like that. They're not wired like I was growing up. And it's funny because I didn't get into this story before the vacation, but we had Alex Eshelman on when we were in Las Vegas, University of Arizona grad. If you want to hear that interview, head on over right now to our website or our app. Any of those, you can hear the great interview we did with Alex Eshelman. U of A student. She was a cheerleader here. She's gotten into the business, doing great things, working as a sports reporter in Las Vegas. She was an intern for me when I was at Fox 11 and KOLD 13. And I used to give, and I maybe mentioned this part of it, I used to give my interns a test, just asking them just kind of a baseline, how much do you know about sports? Just the basic stuff. And I think I mentioned that, like, maybe one of the questions was what are how many golf majors are there and what are they called, kind of thing. And but one of the other things I used to do was, you and I, Jada, we grew up reading box scores in the newspaper.
Yeah. I grew up before the top 10 existed. Like, there was no, like, it was local. You could get, like, your 3 minutes of your local sports anchor, and that was it.
Yeah. Kids today don't do that. They're not. So one of the things I tried to do to teach, because a lot of our interns were during the summer when baseball was going on, and we're sitting up there working at night, and we got the Diamondbacks game on, is I tried to have them write me a story about last night's game just based on the box score. I want you to take a look at this box score, and I want you to write me a story about what happened in this game just based on the box score.
Sure.
Don't go back and read the game story. You write a story based on what you see in this box score. And you'd be amazed at the kids that just don't know how to read a box score. They can't look at it and figure out what happened in a baseball game.
So it's like early 90s, and Bonds gets walked 5 times, and they think he must have had a bad game.
Exactly.
It's like, no, he didn't see a single pitch because they intentionally walked him 5 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was one of the things. It's like one of my teaching points was just to sit there and say, I literally had to teach a lot of kids how to read a box score. Like, you're looking for, look in the hits column. Did somebody have 3, 4 hits? That's indicative of a good offensive night. Look at the pitching line. If the innings pitched is more than 6, the runs and earned runs is less than 2, the strikeouts are more than 5 or 6, that's a good pitching performance. Just kind of teaching them the things. Go down and look to see who had doubles, who had triples. Did a guy hit home runs? How many home runs? Did he hit more than 1 home run in the game? That kind of thing. Just having to teach them how to read box scores. And I was floored because I'd never really had, I worked in radio for a lot of years, but but most of the interns I had in the 90s and the early 2000s kind of knew what was going on. But this was the first time when I got into TV that I really had interns in this century. And I was I marveled at the number of the kids coming that want to go into sports but have no idea what sports is.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a lot of personality these days. So, I mean, if you just look at guys like Stephen A. and people like that.
Yeah.
It's less breaking down the X's and O's about what you can decipher from a box score and more about just some giant polarizing statement that you're meant to have a bunch of people get angry at you for. And so I think, when we growing up for us, all of our idols were those greats, who really had a poetic way of describing the game, be it on radio or early television. And I think this is not a negative statement I'm about to make, but since the Internet 2.0, which is right around 2000, 2001, ever since then, anybody who's grown up then, they might dream, DK, of being a YouTube personality where they, they react to what the Suns did last night from their living room, and they have, 100,000 subscribers, and that's what they dream of getting into sports media. And that didn't exist 25 years ago. So I think, it's a completely, but relative to what sports are popular, DK, now amongst interns would come in, I would think baseball would be pretty low on that list the last 25 years.
Yeah, no question about that. No question about that. Still my favorite sport. Love it. Love being at the ballpark. Love being at games. Love watching it. We stood out. We had standing room only tickets because it was sold out. But there's a ton of different places around that ballpark you can stand and watch the ball game. We were out at what's called Ashburn's Alley, which is out in center field. Richie Ashburn. It's funny,
like a Stanford thing. Everything's got a name.
Exactly. You look back at the history of your life when you go and into some of these ballparks, and there's monuments to these people that, like, I never saw. I mean, Richie Ashburn was a great baseball player. I never really saw him play, but I remember him as one of the announcers for the Phillies when I was growing up. That's my memory of Richie Ashburn. Always knew he after you get to, you find out he played and you hear about his career. But for me, Richie Ashburn was the guy that worked with Harry Callis, who was one of my favorite broadcasters growing up. The second game we watched on a deck in right field below the scoreboard, which is called Harry the K's. It's like a restaurant, little restaurant bar that's named after the great announcer for the Phillies, Harry Callis, rest his soul, passed away. But yeah, you walk around and you just see, and again, I spent the majority of my summers from 1975 to 1985 in Philadelphia growing up. So you're walking through there and you're seeing Mike Schmidt. I mean, I can't count how many games I saw that guy play. Greg Lazinski has a barbecue joint out in left field. It's called Bull's Barbecue, and sometimes I don't know if I didn't see him there, but they say sometimes he's there back there doing some of the cooking. And you remember Greg Lazinski, the Bull, and guys like that. Obviously, Pete Rose played for the Phillies for a number of years. Larry Bowa at shortstop. My guys in the outfield, Bake McBride and Gary Maddox. I mean, you just start all those memories of for a kid who grew up loving baseball. All those memories of those guys you watched when you were, preteen and a teen. All those years just come flooding back to you.
Yeah, you just described
when you walk into a ballpark.
The exact feeling I get when I get to McHale and look up and see guys like Kerr and Elliott. Because I was, I was in the exact same position you just described. And then watching the Olympics this weekend and seeing Coach Kerr on the sidelines coaching, this group of future Hall of Famers. I completely understand that thing about when you're a kid, that those formative years and whatever it is that rubs off. You just said that those people you took, the relatives you took to the game in Philadelphia, they didn't go to baseball games. Well, that's what it is. It's your fathers and your grandfathers and your great-grandfathers. Hey, when I was your age, my dad took me to the game. Let's go to this game. Like, that's where it comes from, right? It's that whole, passing the torch along to the next generation. Because, you had gone when you were a little kid, and you have such fond memories of your time, trying to catch balls in the outfield or whatever, or, foul balls.
Getting there early for BP and, trying to get a home run ball on BP and all that stuff. We wanted to be there early so we could see batting practice and those types of things growing up. And one of my cousin's husbands worked for years, retired from UPS, executive management. And he said one of the last things they gave him before he left was management of the suite at the ballpark for clients, right? But he hates baseball. So he's telling me, he's like, oh, yeah, they gave me management of the suite. We got this big suite over there. And, I had to kind of come to the games and entertain the clients. And I'm thinking to myself, And you didn't love that?
Right. Well, the one thing about an executive suite, DK, is you don't really have to love baseball to have a good time.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, give me that job where I get to come to baseball
and drink your fancy like $1,000 bottle of champagne and eat your caviar. You'll be fine.
Exactly. He did say that. He said, man, the food was awesome.
Yeah, sure.
That was the best part of it for him. I was like, man, give me a job where I can go entertain people, entertain clients at the ballpark every night. I would die for a job like that. Of course, if I wasn't doing this great job that we have right here, right now.
You'd have to rub elbows with a whole lot of corporate types, though, DK.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There is the downside of that.
There is. There always is. All right, lots of stuff coming up in store for you today. John Perlman is going to join us in this hour. FC Tucson got to the semifinals for the first time at USL League 2. We'll talk to John Perlman about the phenomenal season that they had. Austin Scott is going to join us in studio. If the name sounds familiar, Austin, great wrestler here in Southern Arizona, over at Mountain View High School, got a scholarship to Oregon State. He is transferring, though. We'll talk about where he is going to continue his wrestling career. We'll get into the Olympics. A lot of people upset about the opening ceremonies. I kind of didn't see the whole thing. I saw snippets of it, but I'm going to read you something that a friend of mine wrote. We've had him on the show before. His name's Dyrell Joyner. He's a sports reporter up in Phoenix, explaining the history of what that was all about, because a lot of y'all don't know nothing about history. Nothing. And I keep telling you, you need to know your history surrounding things before you start opening your mouth and talking. So we'll get into the history of what the opening ceremony was all about today as well. DK on the Sports Tip, 520-848-1290. Glad to be back. Football starts this week. Can't wait to get that going. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Cricket gets you home with the traffic.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported Broadway and Dodge near Elcon, Dodge Boulevard and Broadway. Orange Grove east of La Cañada, some light westbound, slowing westbound Orange Grove approaching La Cañada. Also crashed Golf Links and Wilmot and Golf Links. And for your weather, 15% chance of rain today and 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HTP nails. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
There is a difference when it comes to sports radio. If you want Wildcats play-by-play and the NFL and the Super Bowl, you turn to 1290.
Come on, it's brilliant.
This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Really? Really, really?
Really? Free!
That's our polar bear promise.
You don't need us telling you it's been hot.
Really hot. Really, really.
You just need to know, if your AC breaks down,
we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
William just said that.
It's the Alaskan AC
With
service
Alaskan
guarantee.
AC service guarantee.
Hey, Gary was speaking.
Thanks. Like I was saying, we'll arrive
in one day or your repair is free.
Okay, let's try this. At Alaskan Air Conditioning, we promise to be at your house in 24 hours or the fixing thing won't cost you any money.
What? What?
What? I just said with Alaskan AC.
Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
See, now that's easy to remember. It's a toe tapper. Really, really, really from AlaskanAC.com.
Choosing the right lawyer after a car wreck is important. You need to consider the law firm's experience, results, and reputation. Lerner Rowe stands above other law firms when it comes to experience and results, helping over 150,000 people recover billions of dollars for their injuries. When it comes to reputation, we have thousands of 5-star reviews, and year after year, we have been voted best personal injury law firm in Arizona. Call us today and let us put our experience, proven results, and reputation to work for you.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
TFCU Gives supports local organizations who help those in need. We take pride in giving back and believe that we are stronger when we all pitch in to help one another. Sister Jose Women's Center is dedicated to uplifting all women in our community by providing a welcoming and safe environment for women experiencing homelessness. TFCU invites you to join us in partnering with Sister Jose Women's Center. Learn more about Sister Jose at www.sisterjose.org.
Wildcats fans from coast to coast can bring a little bit of Tucson to themselves wherever they happen to be by streaming 1290 on our website at wildcatsradio1290.com. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. The Packers and the Dolphins both decided to make it rain all over their respective quarterbacks. Neither one was exactly surprising, but they're both massive deals with massive implications. Tua, 4 years, $212 million. Then Jordan Love, $220 million to join Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow in the $55 million per club, a.k.a. the three dudes set to make the most money in the NFL this season. It is a ton of jack. It is a lot of paper, an obscene amount of coin. But as I've said before, I'm good with it, especially in the case of Jordan Love. I'm happy both of these guys got theirs, but I'd be even more confident if I just shelled out for Jordan Love as opposed to Tua, and nothing against Tua. I like him. And the reason I say that about Jordan Love is this guy is worth betting on. I have seen enough of this guy to know that he is this guy.
O'Reilly. Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And when you join My Lowe's Rewards for free, the savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers, plus earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards, just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards and become a member for free today. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on this program. 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. So glad to be back with you here. Again, as we mentioned, pretty much vacation time is over. We've taken some trips this year, gone to some places, seen a lot of family, but now it's time to get down to the business of college athletics, which starts this week with the beginning of football practice for the Arizona Wildcats. Soccer practice also will be getting underway on Tuesday. Football's first practice will be on Wednesday. I've not seen anything in regards to when volleyball will begin their practices, but I've seen a lot of pictures and postings of the girls being together, and so I'm sure that things for Charita Stubbs and her ladies will begin this week as well as we count down. I believe soccer always is the first to go, and they've got a match coming up here pretty quickly in the next couple of weeks, so we look forward to them getting going with this new era in the Big 12 for Arizona athletics. All right, the Olympics is going on. Really started on Thursday with some of the competition, and then obviously we had the opening ceremonies on Friday night. We'll get into that a little bit later, but just wanted to kind of go through a few of the things that I've had a chance to watch so far. I've always, and this has been a big sport here in Tucson because it was a club sport, but it was one of our better club sports, and that's rugby, the sevens rugby, which is how they play it on the Olympics level. I never really got in. I went and watched both. I went and watched the 15s play at U of A, but it's the sevens that to me was the real exciting one. It's just a little bit faster game. It goes quicker. There's just more happening. A lot less scrums and a lot more movement in rugby sevens than you get in rugby 15s. And Dave Sitton, the longtime announcer for Arizona, was the coach of the club team for many, many years and always made his program open and available. And they would go to the Nationals and compete at a high level every year. So I was watching a little bit of the women's rugby over the weekend. And they've got a phenomenal player by the name of Alana Mayer. And they've got there were some ladies on that team that were really, really good. But I was surprised to see that the game I saw was against Japan, and they won that pretty handily. But I was surprised to see that they got their butts kicked today, apparently losing to France, the home team, by a score of 33-14. So things did not go well for the ladies rugby team today. Things did go well for the United States women's basketball team. They get a 102-76 win in their opener over Japan. Very much expected to run away with the gold medal as they normally do, the United States ladies. Asia Wilson led the way with 24 points. Diana Taurasi, the only member of the Mercury that started, she played 15 minutes, scored 2 points. Brittany Griner came off the bench, played 16 minutes, had 11 points and 9 rebounds. Kalia Copper played just 6 minutes in a reserve role, but did score 4 points and have 2 rebounds. So a pretty good start for the American ladies today.
1992
was the last time they lost or did not win a gold medal.
Correct. The last time they lost an Olympic basketball game, the U.S. women's national team, was 1992.
The last time they lost a game.
A game. They are 56-0 since 1992. They're looking for their 8th consecutive gold medal.
So do you know who they lost to?
I don't.
No.
I don't remember. No.
Yeah, that would be a great question of the day. Who did the United States lose to, or did they make the medal round that year? Or did they even make it to the medal round? But who won? The question it would be, who won the gold medal in 1992, the last time that the United States women did not make it? That was a question in our sales meeting this morning, not that specifically, but when was the first time that the Olympics was held in the United States? You know the answer to that, Cheetah?
The first time?
The first time the Olympics was held in the United States.
I don't.
Chanel knew it. Chanel absolutely nailed this one. 1904 was the first time the Olympics were held in the United States. Well, that was not part of the question, so I have no idea where it was exactly. I'm sure it might have been all over, maybe on the East Coast, I would imagine, because there probably was not a whole lot happening in the West at that particular time.
I do have an answer to that question, unless you want to.
Who won? Well, let's hold out on that. If you know the answer, give us a call.
1992. Now, this was the same year as the Dream Team.
Oh, okay.
So the United States, that's the last time the United States women's national basketball team lost a game in Olympic competition.
5-2-0. So is the question then, who won the gold or who beat them? Is it the same team?
I don't see who beat them. I do have the final standings, though.
Okay. All right. So we'll go back and who won the gold medal in 1992, and maybe bonus, who beat the United States if it wasn't the team that won the gold medal in 1992. Well, maybe we'll see if we can find something to give you if you know the answer to that. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. J-Dub, what Olympic sports have you been paying attention to thus far?
Well, people know me, so I watched the opening basketball for the men, and this weekend, what we did was on Peacock, they have a channel that has 4 different events going on at the same time. Right. And you basically can just click on the one you want sound for. So for a lot of the time, we had that up. And so there was multiple things, boxing, rugby, women's rugby. I saw some of that match you're talking about. But honestly, DK, Paige came in Saturday morning, and she chose. And what she chose, DK, was surfing. And more specifically, the women's side of things. And I wanted to bring this up to you because I got really wrapped up in the whole surfing competition. Number one, they set a new record for the furthest venue away from the Olympic Village. Mm-hmm. So previous to this year, it was an equestrian event when they had the Olympics in Australia back in like 1954. And this event is taking place in Tahiti, French Polynesia. And it is, I think, 9,000 miles away, something like that, away from the Olympic Village. But that's not the reason I got super wrapped up in it. It's because, DK, the pommel horse and the rings can be pretty dangerous if you land the wrong way.
Yeah.
But for the most part, most Olympic events don't have a death-defying element to them. You know what I mean? Like if you're running 100 meters up the track, the chances of you dying during that are pretty slim. Well, this event is actually being held at this place in Tahiti, which is pretty famous. I'll let the announcer sum it up because, DK, it's just crazy.
This is surfing's second appearance in the Olympic Games. Our venue is as unique as our sport. 15,000 kilometers away from Central HQ here in Paris. We are in beautiful French Polynesia, Tahiti, at a place called Chiahopo, aka the end of the road, and it's loosely translated to the Wall of Skulls.
So this place they're surfing is called the Wall of Skulls.
And this is in Tahiti.
Tahiti. Now, anybody who's been to a beach understands how waves break on the shore, right? And it's basically a 1-to-7 ratio. So when the wavelength is 7 times, when the height is 1, the wave, and more than 1-to-7 ratio, but the length, that's when the wave breaks. Well, this is not a shore break, it's a reef break. So the break is actually well out from the shoreline. And the cinematography of this place is unreal because it's very new volcanic mountains in the background. But the crazy part, DK, is it's known as the heaviest wave in the world. It breaks right on the reef. And if you get scratched by this reef, you can get really bad reef poisoning. You can get you can have a really bad time just from rubbing up against this reef. Mm-hmm. But people have died. Like this is one of those really super dangerous. So watching that event for a good bit of Saturday, and then we saw some of the men yesterday. John from the U.S. team Hawaii, and he's the favorite. So yeah, it was fun watching that, along with obviously basketball and everything else. I watched less gymnastics, I think, this time around than I might have ever before in the past, just because I got super wrapped up in that surfing.
I was watching the gymnastics with my mother last night. She was all into that, and the performances. I mean, it's just amazing when you watch it on the collegiate level, like we follow it here, and then you see some of the things that these girls are able to do on the Olympic level. I mean, the degree of the flips and the turns that they're doing at such a high level on some of these things. It's just, and then they fall just like anybody else. Jade Carey kind of fell on her final pass on the floor routine, and so it does not appear that she's going to be able to repeat as the gold medalist. She won the gold medal in that event in Tokyo, and so those things happen. Simone Biles dealing with an injury, but was able to fight through that. And I mean, it's funny to hear the announcers talk about, she can take a step back or two on her landing because the degree of difficulty is so high that it basically just crosses that out.
Well, she did, on a bum, was it ankle she has?
Calf.
Calf. She did a triple flip, which nobody's ever done before in the history of the Olympics. So, I mean, when you talk about a person of her stature, I think that's just it. It's just like, I think of it, diving is probably the best for me because the score is 100% based on the difficulty of the dive and then the execution of that dive. So if you're performing in gymnastics things that nobody else is even trying, DK, then you should have a little bit more leeway, wiggle room, I think, just based on difficulty alone. But yeah, I mean, what else can you say about Simone Biles?
Not much.
Just unbelievable.
Not much. I mean, she is as good as there's ever been for sure in that sport of gymnastics. So your thoughts, when I hear you, what you've liked so far in terms of the competition. We'll get into the opening ceremony a little bit later. I've got something I want to read you about that. I'm going to give you a history lesson because apparently a lot of y'all out there don't know nothing about the history of France, which is, fine because you're not from there. But at least you probably should maybe attempt to understand it before you start talking out of your butt. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We got a text this is actually from before we left, Jada, but I'm going to read it. Text from our guy, Paul in Phoenix. The last show before we went on vacation, we were talking about calling off sick.
Right.
So Paul says, I did actually go into work one Sunday morning only to leave early with a fake sickness because Arizona was playing North Carolina in the Elite Eight to get to our first Final Four.
That's different.
I felt guilty, but as soon as I got home, all that guilt went away.
Yeah, no, I think special occasion, especially lifetime fan of a team, I was like, take the day off of work.
Yeah.
However, I think the conversation we were having was, if you have a 5-day vacation week coming up, don't take the Friday before or the Monday after off.
Well, I'll tell you, Paul.
First day.
I did not. I thought about it, but I did not call off the night that the Cubs and the Indians played in Game 7 of the World Series. And I'd also worked the night that the Cavaliers won the NBA championship.
The Kyrie shot?
Yeah. I was there. I was at work that night yelling and screaming in the newsroom at up on Cortero Road, and I think I was the only guy working that night, and all the girls were like, "What is going on with that guy?
What is happening?
What is happening there?" And then I got on the air and started crying, and I remember because I was like, "This is what I've been waiting for all my life."
Of course.
And I was just, it was one of those things where it was just the shot. It was I had them at the end of the show. I just had them pull up the shot of the celebration.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking over it as somebody from Cleveland, and I just start crying. And Carissa Flanoff, who was the news anchor at the time, she's like looking at me like she had no idea about sports, like why any of this even mattered. And she's like looking at me like I have 3 heads.
Look, anybody who was around and aware in the 80s understands what that title meant, because we all saw what Jordan did year after year after year after year to very, very, very good Cavs teams. Cavs teams that could have easily challenged for the title had they not been able to get past Michael Jordan and the Bulls. So, I mean, that was a long time coming from a long-suffering fan base that had seen some damn fine teams come through Cleveland over those years, but never been able to put it together because some guy named Mike was doing his thing in Chicago.
All right, well, we did not get a soccer championship this past weekend, but did we get darn close to one? We'll talk to John Perlman about FC Tucson's run to the semifinals. That is straight ahead. Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported at Ajo and Alvernon and Ajo Way, Broadway and Dodge Boulevard, Orange Grove east of La Cañada, and some slowing there, and also golf links in Wilmot. There's a 15% chance of showers today and 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back to school. Right now, 24-pack Crayola crayons and comp books are just 50 cents each at Staples. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program. In-store only, offer ends 8/24, limit 10. Save big on back to school at Staples.
Ahead of tomorrow's trade deadline, there's strong value to be found in baseball's 12-game slate today. I'm Chris Mack, here to help you beat the books with BetQL. The Astros, they've got a chance to spoil Skeens Day as the NL Rookie of the Year favorite is trying to bounce back from his first Major League loss. BetQL model has Houston at plus 130 on the money line against the Pirates as a 5-star best bet. I'm Chris Mack. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL and BetMGM apps today.
Here at O'Reilly Chevrolet, we want to thank you, Tucson, for helping us celebrate 100 years of serving our community. And we want to thank the Tucson Fire Department for helping us put out the cake.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
We all know just because gifts for loved ones can look like flowers, a spa day, or maybe even planning date night. But what about something that will truly last and protect your loved ones along the way? I'm talking about life insurance. I called SelectQuote to secure our coverage and couldn't believe how easy and affordable it was. I'm 40, and my $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. And with their same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. With monthly payments less than the cost of a bouquet of flowers, this is the perfect time to make sure your family is protected.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-596-2626 or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-596-2626. 1-800-596-2626. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them. With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise. No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures. It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Reforma Modern Mexican Mezcal and Tequila takes a modern and playful twist on authentic Mexican food, using only the freshest local ingredients. Reforma boasts Arizona's largest selection of mezcal and tequila, along with a creative list of margaritas and cocktails and house-made salsas, which are just some of the reasons Reforma has quickly become a Tucson favorite. Join them for a happy hour 7 days a week, a modern Mexican brunch, or for your favorite soccer games on one of their big screen TVs. Located at the SC corner of River and Campbell in the beautiful St. Philip's Plaza. Reforma Modern Mexican, mezcal and tequila for brunch, lunch, dinner, and late night in one of Tucson's premier restaurant locations.
And this Friday, we have a sweet deal for you from Reforma. Modern Mexican, mezcal, and tequila. Located in St. Philip's Plaza on the southeast corner of Campbell and River. You can get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. And this Reforma gift certificate will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
This is Jim Rome with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Wrangler. It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles. Tua ends up getting a big contract from the Miami Dolphins. Now he has to prove that he can be a difference maker. Now that he's being paid like the dude and not a dude, we have to see him win big games. I'm Jim Rome.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them. With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise. No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures. It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Always find what you love at Total Wine & More. With so many bottles to choose from at the lowest price, it's easy to find your favorite Cabernet or a new single-barrel bourbon to try. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine & More. Spirits not sold in Virginia and North Carolina. Drink responsibly, B21.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. FC Tucson advanced to the national semifinals of USL League 2. It had been a plane that they had many times gotten close to before, but had not been able to get over the hump and get into the Final Four at this level of the United States Soccer League. But they were finally able to punch through this year before losing over the weekend to Peoria City FC by a score of 5-1. We're joined by the president of FC Tucson, John Perlman. John, just a tremendous season. we go back all the way, obviously, to the PDL days where you guys had gotten to that Western Conference final and I think 5 times or 4 times and lost all 4 times. But to finally get through this year, to make it to the semifinals, what did that mean for this organization?
Yeah, it was tremendous. I was really just thrilled for the players and the fans and all of our supporters, and obviously for Tucson and our sponsors, and really for Sebastian Pineda, who had done such a really good job this year as a first-year head coach, dealing with the amount of travel we have, the ups and downs that we had during the year, to have the team playing well at the key moments and in pressure-filled situations. I was glad to be able to go on the trip. I was glad to be able to be on the sideline. And it's a real privilege when somebody that you really care about, that you love how they coach and love everything they do, and that you're close to, and to share that moment with him and with all the people who had really helped us from the beginning. Just a thrill, but obviously disappointing on Sunday to really not be able to carry that momentum, but an amazing season and really one to build on again.
Do you look, I guess, John, when obviously, again, we mentioned this was the 5th time you guys have been to the Western Conference Finals. Do you look back and say, well, this was the difference this year? This is why, we had these things in place, or these mechanisms, or these types of players that allowed us maybe to take that step this year that we weren't able to take those years prior?
To be candid with you, I think really when I look at the teams that we've had, and there were so many great teams with great talent, football is it's a fickle game. It's a really, really unfair sport a lot of times, where the team playing better doesn't win. If I look at definitively, I think Sebastian would say the same. We look at when we were in 17 playing Fresno, a team loaded with 5 or 6 MLS players that are still currently playing. We played a great game, and their goalkeeper stood on their head. In our game against Project 510 Oakland Roots' team, we just had we just had some moments. We were good in key moments, and that's really what it comes down to in these big games. If somebody finishes or somebody makes a big save, but this team, I thought, did a great job of having really good leadership and really good even-keeled, players that didn't break down when things got difficult. And really, I attribute that to, Sebastian and our captain, Duvon, and we really missed him on Sunday. But like I said, with football, we were prepared in all those games in those years and put some great performances together. But again, sometimes you just need a break here or there. That's really more apparent in soccer, I think, than any other sport. And, as much as the ball rolled our way on Friday, I thought we had a great first half on Sunday, and then, a couple weird moments, and then things sort of, the score really wasn't indicative of the competitiveness of the match all the way through the first, 70 minutes. But like I said, couldn't be happier. But all the teams we have are special. This one now, has put itself in the lore of the best team we've had, because it's really objectively we have not been able to get over the top. And there were so many more teams in the league, and playing in the California Conference that we have is so challenging on the travel. So I can't say enough good things about these players and the balance, and the number of Tucson guys we had contributing. And, I'm just really thrilled with this group.
We're chatting with John Perlman. He is the president, founder of FC Tucson. The boys in black got to the semifinal level at USL League 2 this past weekend before losing to Peoria City by a score of 5-1. When you look now, John, at those upper echelon of teams, the teams you get to the final for, the other teams that were able to get to that level, do you feel like this is an outfit that can do that consistently? I mean, when you look at your roster and you look at Peoria City's roster, or you look at Seacoast United's roster, do you feel like that you compare with what those teams are able to bring in, the types of players that those teams are able to bring in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, if you spoke to Peoria's coach, who's a great guy, and they had a great setup there, what they did, they felt great about their performance, but again, they didn't feel the match was about, a mismatch in talent. Sometimes you have the moments, sometimes you don't. Obviously, listen, Seacoast, a tremendous team. Asheville City, coached by one of my friends, one of the assistant coaches, Matt Mennel, and there are players on that team that we looked at for our team. We definitely have the roster capability. But again, when you get to this stage, sometimes players have to leave to go back to school, or
Right.
sometimes players, have the opportunity to get a pro trial in Germany like we had with Luke, and these are all positive things that we encourage because, again, ultimately we see ourselves as always trying to win a national championship, but we're going to measure ourselves on players that move on, players that have, college All-American seasons, and more importantly than anything, Tucson players like Tommy Silva that move into the pros. So really, that's really our ultimate goal, to create those opportunities. But again, roster-wise, I love this roster. And again, I'll just say, look, we're at half. We hit the post. If somebody's there for the rebound, we're telling a different story and we're bringing the game home to Tucson this weekend. But on the flip side, Oakland had some key opportunities that they were unable to capitalize on, and we were opportunistic. So when you get to that final group of 8 or 6, really anybody that makes the playoffs, all of those rosters have a set of quality players. And especially when you get down to that last 8, you're really looking at the cream of the crop. And again, we battled. We had a great 90 plus 45 plus 10 minutes, and like I said, sometimes the wheels do fall off when you're pressing to get a goal and equalize, and that's oftentimes you expose yourself, and weren't designed for that. But a full credit to Peoria. I think it's going to be a great matchup because it's a very unique field that's there. We hadn't played on a field that was that soft, that played that slow. It's a field that really gives them a home field advantage, but that's an excellent team. But Seacoast has got weapons up the wazoo, and it should be, I think, a very high-scoring game.
We're pleased to be joined by the president and founder of FC Tucson, John Perlman. John, when you were talking, you mentioned a match years ago against Fresno when they had 5 guys that ended up in MLS. Who do you look at on your roster? Who are those guys on your roster we could potentially see get to that Major League Soccer level? I mean, is it a guy like maybe an Ilian Aguilar, who a defender but showed that he could score for you? Who are maybe 1 or 2 of those guys that you think could get to that level?
So for me, if I'm looking at the roster and the challenges that are there for international players, I'm gonna go tell you right now that the player that impressed me the most, I think, is the highest end potential on this team to maybe be seen in an MLS uniform, is DeAndre Pickett. I think he 100% proved he had the athleticism. We had to play him out of position as a right back. He's probably a right center back in a back 3 or in a back 4. We already have interest from him from a number MLS 2 squads, and the calls are pouring into Dave Cosgrove from Blue Blood NCAA Division I colleges left and right. I think DeAndre hasn't even hit the peak of what his potential is. He proved that he belongs among the best defenders in USL League 2 this year. And for me, I think that, anyone who is watching, and I've had a lot of great conversations with a number of different players from MLS organizations and from also top colleges, really looking to see if DeAndre can take that next step. So it's great to have a Tucson guy that we're this excited about. There's a number of guys on that team from Tucson that are tremendous, and a number of guys from all over the world and country. But when you look at the international rules and you look at when you have a domestic player like DeAndre who's got both the athleticism, he's got the youth, he's got the mindset and the calm and really the demeanor that is in the professionalism, I really think the sky's the limit for him.
We're young into this Olympic process over in Paris. Obviously, the U23 men's team is a much different makeup than the national team that played in the Copa America. But what could you want to see, obviously, anytime you put a group of kids together and they put on the United States, you want to see them, the United States kit, you want to see them do well. What do you want to see from this U23 team in Paris?
Well, I'd like to see them get out of group. I think they have, one more match in the group. Obviously, I think they lost to France. They came back strong against New Zealand. The last match is going to be extremely challenging. But it's interesting to see who can start to step up on the international stage. And what happens with the Olympics with these young players is opportunities come if you excel in these tournaments. It gives you the possibility of playing in Europe and really expanding your resume as a player. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I was sorely disappointed that Diego Luna from Real Salt Lake wasn't on this roster. I'm very concerned he's going to end up as a player for Mexico. He's a player I scouted, right in Casa Grande, playing for the Barca Academy. absolutely a top-class player and plays for RSL and was an all-star this year. Shocked that he did not make that cut. So, what I'm looking for is players that really can contribute. Maybe in 26 somebody can slip into the roster. But those are younger guys. The national team has a lot of young players on it to begin with. So what we're looking for is some entertaining soccer, and maybe they can knock somebody off.
John, what's next for the FC Tucson family? You got any of the academy teams with anything coming up big here in the next few months?
Yeah, we've got, we have 2 more games left, one against Phoenix Rising next weekend and finishing with Barca. And then obviously it's back to work with the youth program and then us, really pushing towards another big preseason, hopefully, and obviously building the roster right away, starting to watch games. I know Sebastian's eager to get started again. And obviously we're working very hard to do some things that put ourselves in position, hopefully to return to professional soccer in 26. So.
There you go. His name is John Perlman. He is, in fact, the president and founder of FC Tucson. John, we always appreciate talking to you and getting your soccer knowledge, your football knowledge to the masses here in Southern Arizona.
TK, thanks so much. You've been such a great supporter, and your coverage is tremendous, and I love the show. So thank you for giving me the time all the time you gave to both our women's and men's team all season. We really appreciate you.
There you go. Appreciate you guys as well. John Perlman, FC Tucson. Much more coming up for you in the 4 o'clock hour. In-studio guests today. We love in-studio guests. Austin Scott, state championship wrestler, 2-time state championship wrestler from Mountain View High School, is going to join us. He's got a new college stop on his tour. He's going to tell you all about that and why he made the decision to leave Oregon State. It's DK on the Sports Tip. JW Madden is here. Cricket will have her as well coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With a traffic hazard reported at Sabino and Tanque and Sabino Canyon, a traffic hazard reported. Collisions that are reported and clearing at Benson and Irvington and Benson Highway, and also Broadway and Dodge Boulevard. And for your weather, there is a 15% chance of some showers today, 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by KFC. Introducing KFC's $10 Tuesday. Get 8 hot and juicy drums and thighs for just $10. Taste it for yourself. Every Tuesday, only at KFC. It's finger licking good. Prices and participation vary. Tax, tips, and fees extra.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. It was a thrilling day for the U.S. men's gymnastics team, which won its first medal in 16 years. The American men took bronze after a mostly error-free showing in the artistic gymnastics final. Japan took home the gold. China claimed the silver. 20-year-old Massachusetts native Frederick Richards says the team was focused on a singular goal.
One of the main points we made coming here was saying that, we're going to build momentum with every routine. Momentum is important. Every routine has potential to push us in the right direction and build that energy that makes us just keep getting better and better and doing amazing, and that's what we did today.
Richard will also be competing in Wednesday's men's individual all-around. Meanwhile, despite tweaking her calf during last night's qualifying, Simone Biles will fully compete in tomorrow night's women's team final. With this Summer Games update, I'm Erica Herskowitz, Westwood One Sports.
Hi, welcome to Staples.
Yeah, my daughter needs a laptop for college, but I need to watch the budget.
Well, Staples hot deals on tech are backed by a price match guarantee, so our prices won't be beat.
Great. I can't believe my baby's starting college.
She'll do great.
I know.
Oh, let's get you a great deal on a laptop.
Save big on tech for school at Staples. Now get up to $300 off select PCs. NC24 price match guarantee valid within 14 days of purchase. Exclusions apply. For details, visit staples.com/price match.
At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HPT nails. Plus, save an extra 5% every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Card. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store lowes.com/credit for details.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
When the Cats take the floor this season, there's only one sports station in town that brings you all the action with Brian Jeffries behind the mic. That's why we run this town. We are the official home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Oh, Downy in a rinse straight. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes 100% of odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Is Charlie Woods the most anticipated, follow in the footsteps child of an athletic Hall of Famer we've ever had? Bronny James, as good as he may be, still has to compete within the parameters of a team sport. Golf is individual. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along just at the beginning of the social media era. I don't know that there's anybody else.
Wildcats Radio 1290. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. The one and only home of the Jim Rome Show. Rich Eisen and DK on the Sports Tip.
Talk about that tweet to Rome. It's going to be so awesome. He'll read it. He'll love it.
We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 2 on this Monday, back from vacation. Glad you could be with us today. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We always love to have in-studio guests, and we have one joining us here today. Pleased to be joined by Austin Scott, 2-time, back-to-back, in fact, state championship wrestler, from Mountain View High School. 2021 won the 152-pound title. 2022 won the 157-pound state championship. Got a scholarship to go wrestle up at Oregon State, but has decided to bring his talents back down here to State 48 and is going to be up the road now wrestling at Arizona State University. Austin, appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So let's talk about Oregon State. You got there and then you had an injury right out of the gate. What happened and how did that kind of change the trajectory of the start of your college career?
I was feeling pretty good when I got up there. I liked it a lot, and then during our wrestle-offs, like the first week of October, I tore my ACL, and it was pretty hard. It put me out for about 9 months, and every day I just had rehab and had to watch practice, and it was a pretty rough 9 months. So
now, had you ever had any type of injury in wrestling? I know you played a little football as well growing up. Had you ever had any type of injury that you had to come back from?
Nah, nothing serious. This was my first real injury that I needed surgery and stuff.
So what's that like when you get injured for the first time and I got to have surgery? There's going to be rehab. Mm-hmm. Rehab is I've seen it. I've seen people go through rehab. Yeah. It's grueling. How do you get that into your head? What the process is? What your road is going to be like from that standpoint?
I definitely had to reframe how I was thinking about things because I was on such a high. I knew I was kind of going to redshirt that year anyways, but I was still in a pretty good training routine and doing good in practice and stuff. So it took me from a high place to a low spot, and then I just had to reframe and treat rehab as a way to getting back on the mat.
So what are some of the things you use to kind of get through that?
I talked to my mom a lot, my parents a lot, and then my teammates and my coaches were always really helpful at Oregon State. They always kept me around and checked on me a lot and made sure I was doing good. So they were really helpful over there.
Austin Scott joining us in studio, state championship wrestler at Mountain View. So you come back from the injury. So you got hurt, you said, in October it was?
Yeah.
Now, wrestle-offs, for folks that don't know what that is, what's that part? How's that part of the process? Were you wrestling off to win a spot in your category, or what exactly was that?
So there was 5 guys in my weight class on our roster, so we all have to we go against each other to see who's going to start. So the person who beats everybody is the starter. So it was during it was a real match, but it was against one of my teammates that was in my weight class.
How did you feel about your standing going into that?
I felt pretty good. I won my first match, and then this next match was to go to the final, I guess, the final wrestle off. So I was feeling pretty good, and it happened right in the first period. So I tried to keep wrestling, but my leg just kind of kept giving out.
All right, so 22, you missed that entire season. When did you kind of get back on the mat for the first time after your rehab?
I was on it a little bit sooner than I should have been, but I was practicing during the next summer, the following summer.
So when you say sooner than you should have been, did you feel did you rush it? Do you feel or was it just you felt like you were feeling good enough that you could take those steps?
My trainers and stuff and I was feeling pretty good. I was doing really good in rehab and making a lot of progress. So I started slowly coming back and practicing, and then I got cleared, I think, in the end of July, early August to start fully wrestling. So.
Austin Scott joining us, wrestler out of Mountain View High School. Oregon State was the first stop on his college career. Walk me through then your official freshman season last year, a 6-6 record. How did you feel about the season?
I was trying to cut down to 149. So my first year I wrestled at 157, and then I thought I could drop down an extra weight and that it would benefit me, and it just it wasn't great. I was cutting a lot and I didn't really feel very good training or during my matches. So I had a pretty rough year, and then I ended up hurting my back, and I sat out for a little bit, and then I moved up to 157, and then I started the transfer process.
Now, to drop 8 pounds.
Uh-huh.
What I guess Walk me through why you thought that was something that might benefit you.
So usually I'm like 170, so the cut to 57 is already a little bit, but I was making 157 like pretty easily, so I thought I could drop down that extra weight class and that I would be bigger at it, and I just thought it would benefit me. Usually, being bigger at a weight class is more beneficial, but it kind of like shut my body down when I was cutting so much.
Now, in terms of off the wrestling match, did you like Oregon State? Was that in terms of the school in there?
Yeah, I like the school, and I really like the team a lot. I met a lot of good friends out there, so yeah, I did like it. I just couldn't really get into like my groove out there, and I kept getting injured, so I just thought I needed a change.
So we hear about so many kids going into the transfer portal. What was that like for you? Did the calls start coming right away? How did that process work? What schools did you talk to, and how did you eventually decide to attend Arizona State?
I was talking to a couple of schools. It kind of took a couple of days, and then schools started reaching out to me. And then I was kind of set on ASU, though, coming back home. So I didn't talk to, like, too many coaches in, like a lot of detail. I would just say that I was thinking about my decision. But I started practicing at ASU, and then I kind of knew I was coming back, so.
So now, did you go right into classes there this past spring? Were you in classes there this past spring, or
no? So I entered the portal like the end of March.
Okay.
And Oregon State does 3 semesters, so I finished my last semester at Oregon State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking with Austin Scott, wrestler from Mountain View High School. So I would imagine Arizona State was in the mix during your high school recruiting process.
Yeah, I was supposed to visit there after Oregon State, but I ended up verbally committing when I was at Oregon State, so I never visited there. I kind of thought I wanted to get away from home, so I didn't really I didn't really think much about ASU. But
so now you have 3 years left to wrestle, or how many?
Yeah, I have 3. I took a red shirt and then used last year.
Okay, so now have you been up to Tempe so far? You settled up there? You know where you're going to live and all of that for school when it starts here in a few weeks?
Yeah, I just got a place, and then I've been up there practicing a little bit like throughout the summer and stuff, so.
What would you say, I guess, is the best thing about that program? Why it was the right fit for you, and why you're excited to be a Sun Devil?
Well, they're obviously really good. They're top 10 in the country, and the guy in my weight class is number 2 in the country. So I'm excited to this next year to start working with him and start just kind of soaking up his last year there and trying to learn as much as I can from him and the other guys in that room. They're all great wrestlers. So
okay, so with being behind one of the best wrestlers in the nation, how will that work for you this season? I mean, will you think you'll get opportunities, but you'll still, for the most part, when the matches get serious, you'll be kind of behind him?
Yeah, I'll be behind him most likely. But there's always like open tournaments that they'll send us to, so I'll still be wrestling throughout the season. I just won't be he'll be starting, obviously.
What was the biggest difference about college wrestling from what you had experienced in high school?
It's a big difference. It's going from being the best in the room to everyone's, on that level or better than you. So it's, you're first getting in there and everyone's like as good or better than you, and it's tough to adjust to, but it definitely gets you a lot better. So.
And that's got to be humbling. I mean, how have you dealt with that humbleness?
I kind of knew going into it that I'm not that all these guys are, older than me and stuff like that. So I kind of knew going into it that it was going to be a big change. So I didn't really have a high head going into it.
Now, I know when we first had a chance to talk a few years ago, you were wrestling over with the club over on the east side. Now that you're one of those guys in college up on the wall, how do the younger wrestlers react to you when you come back into the room?
It's always cool seeing the young guys. I love going in, and right when our practice is about to start, the young kids are still wrestling, and it's just cool to see all the young kids, and I get to be on the wall in there, and hopefully someone that can, inspire them to go to college one day.
What are some of do you get any crazy questions from young wrestlers? What do they ask you?
Not really crazy questions. They just ask how it is out there and how it's different and just stuff like that. Yeah.
Austin Scott joining us, wrestler up at Arizona State. University after spending the first 2 years of his career at Oregon State. Have you been following the Olympic wrestling process? You got any thoughts on what we're going to see there once that gets going?
I think it starts like the 5th of August.
It's later in the week.
I'm excited to watch that. I want to see Roman wrestle, so he's wrestling in
Roman Bravo Young, and now he's belonged to the what was the name of the club again?
Cyclones.
Cyclones.
Yeah,
he belonged to Cyclones as well.
Yeah,
right?
He went to Sunnyside.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, how do you think when you look at that club and being around competitors like that, how did that prepare you for this collegiate level?
It definitely it gave me big jumps in high school, and I'd say I was pretty ready for college. It's a great club. Sergio Vega's coming out of there now. He's going to Cornell, so they just keep producing, college athletes, and it's always cool to see. It's a great club, and Danny has a lot of knowledge on wrestling and just knows how to run practices, and it makes everybody in there better.
Are you to the point where concern about the knee is out of your head? Do you still think about it when you get on the knee, when you get on the mat?
I did at first, but I'm pretty good now. I've been doing a lot of rehab and a lot of stuff for it, so I feel pretty good about it.
Is it like baseball when you get Tommy John, you feel like your knee's a lot better, or no?
I don't know if I feel it's better, but I'm definitely I'm comfortable with it now. I don't think about it too much.
What's been happening off the wrestling mat? What were you studying up at Oregon State, and how's that going to translate to Arizona State?
I was business management up there, and I'm changing to administration, so it'll stay in business, but just switching from management to administration.
What do you want to do with that?
I'm not too sure yet. I'll probably start figuring that out during my last year. So, yeah, I don't really know.
Outstanding. All right. Well, Austin, I appreciate you stopping by studio to join us and to talk a little bit about this transition from Oregon State to Arizona State. Now, when do you hit the ground running up there? Well, when do you get up there and start? I would guess fall practices and fall camp. Is it start before school starts or right when school starts?
Yeah, I get up there the 10th of August.
Okay.
So a couple weeks, and then I'll start practicing, and then most of the guys start coming back like the end of August. So we'll start fully practicing then.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to keeping an eye on you and watching how this progresses.
Thank you.
Austin Scott from Mountain View High School, wrestler now at the Arizona State University. People giving you a hard time about that or no?
No, not really. Not really. Hey, U of A doesn't have a wrestling team.
That's true. There you go. Yeah. So there's no reason to give you any heck about that. So it'd be nice if they maybe got that going again at some point over at the University of Arizona. Cool. But a heritage program, as they like to say. Austin Scott, our guest. Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
This report is sponsored by WhatsApp.
Me and the kids were always messaging. They LOL'd, I ROFL'd, but then I changed phone and the bubbles went green. But where there's a fill, there's a way. And I found a way to share what's in here. I'm tapping my heart.
WhatsApp, the place to safely send messages between different devices. Message privately with everyone.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported at Ajo and Mission and Ajo Way, and some slowing at the intersection. Speedway west of Alvernon and also Benson Highway in Irvington. Little bit of freeway slowdowns on the eastbound side of I-10 approaching the Ajo-Kino connection. And for your weather, a 15% chance of showers and 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
Remember, if you listen to the Jim Rome Show, you were listening to 1290.
It's on the up and up. It's all straight, and that's how that is.
Tucson's home of the Jim Rome Show. He's also your home of the NFL. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Less is more? No, more is more. That's why Taco Bell's new $7 Luxe Cravings box is stacked with all your cheesy, crunchy favorites. Think a beefy 5-layer burrito, a double-stacked taco, a Chalupa Supreme, chips and nacho cheese sauce, and a drink for just $7. Live Luxe for less at Taco Bell and sign up for rewards to earn free food. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Drinks exclude freezes. Tax extra. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Points earned on qualifying purchases.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing.
I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
Listen to the home of the Wildcats wherever you are on your iPhone and iPad by downloading our new app in the App Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Rams and Matthew Stafford have agreed to terms on an adjusted contract, giving the quarterback an additional $5 million this year and an additional $4 million guaranteed roster bonus next year, according to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. Stafford is entering the second season of his 4-year, $160 million deal he signed in 2022. Meantime, Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who recently signed a 4-year, $212 million contract extension, was on the field for training camp over the weekend and said, quote, "Right now, I'm the highest paid employee in this office. I got to get my you-know-whatever together and get our guys moving in the direction that we need to go." And 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy telling the San Francisco Chronicle he wants to have that Tom Brady kind of feeling, saying, quote, "Late in the game, it always felt like Tom was just going to take over and not make it close. I feel like I can get to that." This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today, because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone, because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients. Don't pay for water, pay for clean.
Save $10 when you spend $30 on Tide and Downy. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent. Must buy at least one participating Tide or Dreft detergent item, plus at least one participating Downy and or Bounce scent booster, liquid fabric softener, or dryer sheets. Prepaid card by mail. Visit pglaundryrebate.com for terms and conditions.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We're going to talk some Arizona football coming up a little bit later. You'll hear from Rayshad Luke. You'll hear from Alonzo Carter, the new running backs coach for your Arizona Wildcats. Get a sense of what his philosophy is going to be with these running backs as we get set for fall camp. Media lunch tomorrow over at the stadium. Looking forward to hearing more from Alonzo Carter and Brent Brennan and the rest of the coaching staff as we get set for the first practice, which is on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Practices will be open to the public this year, so come on out and watch your Arizona Wildcats as they get set. We are just about a month away. August 31st is when the first game will be against the New Mexico Lobos.
DK, when was the last time Arizona football fans could go into a season with this much hype?
Oh gosh, that's a great question.
Been a
I
minute.
would imagine
When you
the
had
last
returning-
time would be probably 99.
I mean, when you had returning skill position players, especially, and 90% of the line, coming back from a team that won a bowl game against a top flight, a top 15 national program, I don't remember the last time. DK, it's been a while. I think that 20-game losing streak is still somewhat in people's minds. And so I'm just so elated. I'm so excited to see what they look like on Wednesday and can't wait to see the season get started.
Let's hope that coming off a great season like they did last year, let's hope it goes better than 99 after the 12-win season. And you don't have an opponent to start with like you did against Penn State that year.
Yeah, that was bad.
A bad beating like that can really put the rails off of a season quickly. But New Mexico, I would think, is a good barometer leading into Kansas State, which is going to be a really, really fun game to get things going against because that's a good program for sure in the Big 12. So we'll hear more from those guys coming up. We had a chance, again, to talk to Austin Scott here in the last segment. Wrestler, he mentioned Roman Bravo Young, who's going to be wrestling in the Olympics, just one of many Southern Arizona connections to these Olympics. Another one of those Southern Arizona connections is Chase Budinger, who is in the Olympics as a beach volleyball player. You know him and remember him mostly for what he did on the basketball court here at the University of Arizona.
Winning co-MVP of the McDonald's All-American game with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant. I mean, come on. Like, that aged pretty damn well, DK.
Who apparently, just was giddy to see Chase in Paris.
I saw Chase embrace LeBron James. That was on the boat they had the raincoats on. And then later on the street, I saw Chase run into both KD and Diana Taurasi. And the smiles on KD and Taurasi's faces and the hug they gave, just nothing but love for Chase and his pursuit of a beach volleyball medal.
So Chase had a chance before. They played today, this morning. You'll see that tonight probably on the coverage if you didn't watch it live. This morning on Peacock, but he had a chance to talk yesterday prior to his opening match at that beautiful facility that sits right underneath the Eiffel Tower. And here's a little bit of what Chase had to say about that venue and really being an inspiration for the next generation of beach volleyball players in the United States.
Absolutely spectacular. It's probably the best venue I've ever played in. We were there yesterday to practice, and it's even better in person than it is in pictures.
What are your expectations for the games?
My expectations is to just enjoy and experience the whole journey. We had a long qualification process to get here, so now that we're here, just really have fun, enjoy it, try to compete as hard as we can, and let that happen. So whatever happens with the results, try to enjoy it.
Well, you're certainly a man that has worn many hats, a former pro basketball player, of course, after your NBA career. Here you are now representing the U.S. in beach volleyball. How does it feel to be flying the flag for your country at these games?
Yeah, it's such an honor to be able to represent the country of the United States. From me switching from basketball to beach volleyball, it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication because I was so new to it when I first started, and I knew I had to put in a lot of work to get to this point. And I've been so grateful and a lot of gratitude towards that because now I can officially say I'm an Olympian.
Now, you certainly played a lot of volleyball before, but that was court volleyball.
Yes.
How different was it, and how tough was the transition to beach?
Extremely difficult. I think that the hardest thing to really learn about beach volleyball is every tournament is different. And what I mean by that is some tournaments you could play in a lot of wind. Some tournaments it could be raining. Some tournaments it could be really cold. Some tournaments it could be super hot and humid. So you have to play in all these different elements and learn how to control the ball and control how your body's feeling in all these different elements. And I did not know that when I first started, and it was a big adjustment that I had to make.
Beach volleyball is a lot of fun participation type sport, but how do you think it can grow at the highest level? How can you get kids to continue playing this and making a career of it or turning to it later as you did?
Yeah, I think the Olympics is a great platform for that just because it is one of the most watched sports. I think it's number 3 in past Olympics, behind swimming and gymnastics. So this is a great platform for kids to see us play, see us up close, and hopefully more kids will take up on the sport.
Chase Budinger talking yesterday ahead of his match today, his opening match with his partner, Miles Evans. Now, again, this happened this morning, and J-Dub and I were just talking off camera while Chase was doing that, and it harkens back to when I was in television at Channel 4, the most recent Olympics, which was in Tokyo in 20, and one of the mantras that we had was that we were told we had to make a disclaimer before we showed the leaderboard. We have these Special Olympic broadcasts, and we probably showed the leaderboard like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And every time before we did that, it was mandatory that you had to tell the audience that you were about to show the leaderboard, which I don't know what that had to do with actual them knowing what happened, other than how many gold medals somebody's won. It wasn't like we were saying, here's the event and here was the gold. We were just giving you the numbers, like the United States has won 7,
just
China
in case
has won 6.
Somebody did a screenshot and then they did the math and figured out what events it
and
ended.
I'm saying
and
to
who
myself,
won the
well,
gold.
why do I need to give them a disclaimer and tell them to turn away if I'm not actually telling them what happened?
Right.
And we live in a society now that's real time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real time. Everybody, most people know, if you're waiting to find out if Chase Budinger won or not to watch it tonight, then I can't help you. But we're about to give you highlights of what happened today. So if you haven't watched this and you're one of those people that's holding out to watch it later, I'm about to play you highlights of what happened in Chase Budinger's match today. So if you feel like you need to turn the radio off right now, go ahead and do so, because here we go.
Beach volleyball competition. The atmosphere here is bonkers. Why not? It's a primetime matchup. The United States taking on France. There's the USA duo making their Olympic debuts, Miles Evans and Chase Budinger. The French squad, Youssef Crew and Arnaud Gauthier. They are France's best team, and this is a team that is undefeated against the United States so far in international competition. Blocked. Chase Budinger showing you some of the athletic ability that he has. Crew. Chance. Budinger. Got it. Budinger on the left, and the shoot is perfect. You don't have to hit it 3 times. USA has scored 7 of the last 8 points. They're humming. The French are singing songs. It's the national anthem. They are trying to rally their team, who lost the first set to the United States. Look at them. This is like a scene from Casablanca. Gauthier with the serve. Budinger off the net, and he goes right down the middle. In the second set, the Americans have opened up a 3-point lead. Crew, blocked by Budinger. Gauthier, he's blocked, and it's in. No, Chase Budinger, 5 blocks, 5 kills, 2 aces. Working on a triple-double.
And about 5 forces out of bounds, right? So he scored 10 points on just his block here.
Budinger has been aiming for that middle. He's been super successful. And here's another bad pass, same serve.
Budinger gonna get a spiking attempt here. Off speed touch. United States trying to wrap it up. First match point. For the Americans. And it's over. The Americans have beaten the French. They end on an 8-2 scoring run. Now the American fans delirious. Chase Budinger and Miles Evans off to a great start in Olympic competition.
21 21-14, 21-11. The final for the tandem of Miles Evans and Chase Budinger winning their opening debut at the Olympics.
Want to hear that one more time?
One more time.
Blocked by Budinger.
Woof, woof.
Man, if you get a chance, go watch the highlight, because that was about as a roof as it gets. That was the match-winning point. And Chase was over their net, and that ball went straight down on their side.
So good start. Apparently, he talked afterward and said it was much better than my NBA debut when he, what are the numbers? He went 0 for 2 from three-point range and had 2 turnovers, and one of his shots was an air ball. So he said much, much better Olympic debut than NBA debut for Chase Budinger. All right, so that was a good start today for someone with Southern Arizona connections. You know who else has Southern Arizona connections? Cricket is also back from vacation today. How was your week off, Cricket?
It was uneventful.
Uneventful?
Yeah, how about you guys?
Did you get done the stuff that you wanted? Did you get done everything you wanted to get done?
No, maybe like half of
Half
it.
of it?
Yeah, maybe.
What was the most impressive thing of the things you got done? Did you plant a garden? Did you?
Oh, no, it was all the weeds I pulled.
The weed, there you go.
Oh, my gosh, there's so many.
Yeah.
And there's still so many more to pull.
Now, are you pulling them out of grass, or do you have like a rock front yard or one of those?
Well, it's just dirt.
Yards?
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
I like just dirt.
I call that Arizona dirt grass. Is what
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
called.
Yeah. What'd you guys do?
Well, I was in Philadelphia for a week.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Saw Dad. Went to the shore. Have you ever been to the shore, Jersey Shore? No? Okay, so it rained. Now, we did not go to the one where all the kids hang out,
Right.
which was that's Seaside Heights, which is where they did the show. We're Philadelphia side, so we generally go to like South Jersey Shore. We grew up in Wildwood, Ocean City, those ones. But we went to Margate City, which we'd never been. I'd never been to Margate City, which is a little bit south of Atlantic City. They've got this huge elephant that everybody goes there to see, Lucy the elephant. Look up Lucy the elephant, and you'll be like amazed. It's this big, just monstrosity of an elephant that's right in the middle of the city. It rained like it rained like monsoon rain.
Yeah.
Monsoon rain. It flooded like monsoon flooding. So they must have just thought, we're just going to give DK a dose of Arizona. I mean, literally, it was like up to your shins flooding at 2 o'clock in the afternoon after a torrential rainstorm. And you're like out on this island, because it's essentially that's what it is. I mean, there's like the ocean on one side, and then there's a bay on the other side, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't know if I want to be on this island when it's already starting to flood up. But it was hilarious how I was like, this is just like Arizona.
It's just like being at home.
I didn't even need to leave home to see this much rain.
I think it rained 6 consecutive days at our house.
Is that
while
right?
you were gone? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We got measurable rain 6 consecutive days. Yeah.
Wow, I heard there was Thursday was the bad. Like I was getting warnings and stuff on my phone. Was that Thursday or Friday?
I think every day there's rain somewhere in town has some winds pick up and some, some kind of downspout on top of their house. I just think that's the way the monsoons work nowadays. Like one area of town, Cricket, is going to get hit.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you happy to be back? Did you like it? Because I was ready. I mean, I love my family. We had a really good week, but it gets to a point where I'm just ready to come home. And I just want to be home. I want to sleep in my own bed. I want to go back to my normalcy. Did you feel like that when you walked into the building at 5 o'clock or whatever time you get here in the morning, where you're like, I need another day?
I totally could take another day or another week, but I'm happy to have air conditioning at work.
Yeah. That's good. Swamp cooler.
It's nice.
Probably not great last week.
There you go. There you go.
Speaking of normalcy, walking into work for the first time in 9 days, I walked into work and there were 2 police cars in the back. So
Yes.
that wasn't exactly a normal
Here?
thing. No,
Yes.
Yeah, here.
Really? I missed that part of the day.
We don't
What
really
was
need to
going
talk about it
back
on air.
there?
I'll tell you about it. But
Okay.
It's nothing serious, nothing dangerous.
It's nothing
all
bad,
good.
bad.
All right. People walking through the back alleys.
Something like that.
Something like
Yes,
that. All right.
exactly.
All right. Nobody told me to come and lock myself in my office or anyway, so I don't know if anybody's watching out for me.
Just lock your
don't
car.
keep like $100,000 in cash in your car.
Yeah,
You'll be fine.
just make sure your car is locked.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll make sure of that for sure next time. All right. Cricket's getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together with some slowdowns eastbound side of I-10 near the Ajo-Kino connection. And we do have collisions that are clearing at Ajo Way in Mission and also Speedway west of Alvernon. but a 15% chance of some monsoon action today and 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your go-to destination for nonstop entertainment. Play for fun and play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void or prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And when you join My Lowe's Rewards for free, the savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers, plus earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards, just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards and become a member for free today. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. It's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
DJ on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Cricket, did you know that you had a World Cup?
Straight. We're going to have a super over.
Is that like soccer?
I don't understand any of it. I don't understand the terminology. I don't understand. Left-armed seamer, can you believe it or not? He caught a slip.
You don't want to catch a slip.
I don't know what any of those things
That's not good at all.
But congrats to the USA for defeating Pakistan.
Yeah, I like the left-hand seamer, though. That sounds like a good thing.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Kathleen Wynne, Republican for Congress against Juan Ciscomani. Juan Ciscomani failed President Trump this month by refusing to stop Jack Smith's lawfare persecution of our president. It's part of a pattern. Ciscomani refused to censure Adam Schiff, and Ciscomani voted for Biden's spending, Biden's agenda, and Biden's debt. Funding his Green New Deal, but not our border wall. Ciscomani didn't even show up in Milwaukee to support Donald Trump. Makes sense. Juan Ciscomani supported Chris Christie for president. Then when Christie dropped out, Ciscomani stood with Nikki Haley. I'm Kathleen Wynne, Republican for Congress, and I was proud to be in Milwaukee as a delegate to support President Trump. I approve this ad because Southern Arizona needs a conservative champion in Congress to support the Trump agenda, not vote with Democrats, as Ciscomani has done again and again and again. I ask for your vote on primary day, paid for by Win for Arizona.
Reforma Modern Mexican Mezcal and Tequila takes a modern and playful twist on authentic Mexican food, using only the freshest local ingredients. Reforma boasts Arizona's largest selection of mezcal and tequila, along with a creative list of margaritas and cocktails and house-made salsas, which are just some of the reasons Reforma has quickly become a Tucson favorite. Join them for a happy hour 7 days a week, a modern Mexican brunch, or for your favorite soccer games on one of their big screen TVs. Located at the SC corner of River and Campbell in the beautiful St. Philip's Plaza. Reforma Modern Mexican, mezcal and tequila for brunch, lunch, dinner, and late night in one of Tucson's premier restaurant locations.
And this Friday, we have a sweet deal for you from Reforma, Modern Mexican, Mezcal and Tequila. Located in St. Philip's Plaza on the southeast corner of Campbell and River. You can get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. And this Reforma gift certificate will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
This is Sean Levine with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Chase for Business. Make more of what's yours. I had my first fantasy football draft the other day, and I learned a couple of things. One, Anthony Richardson is going to get drafted high. And when I say high, he might be the very first quarterback taken off the board. And I also learned when it comes to quarterbacks in fantasy football this year that Aaron Rodgers is no longer worthy of being a starting quarterback in a 12-team league. I'm Sean Levine.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. How about a cactus call out to the Wilcox Little League softball team? Those ladies swept through the West region on the arm of their phenomenal pitcher, Hattie McCumber, to advance to the World Series in Greenville, North Carolina. So congratulations to Wilcox softball. They beat Northern California twice, had 3 shutouts in their 4 wins, and they are on to the World Series. That is just awesome to see. First Little League softball team from Arizona, from Southern Arizona, since the Sunnyside crew in 2013 to get to the World Series, and they'll represent the West. And again, that is a young lady that we talked about her last summer when they were doing some great things. They got to the West region. I believe they lost in the semifinals last year, but 3 state championships in a row for Wilcox. That's a pretty impressive feat they've got going on down there. And looking forward to seeing how Hattie McCumber's career continues to just arc as she gets into high school. It's interesting. Now you start to think about it, because she's really, really good playing in a small town down in Southern Arizona. I talked to one person who wondered to me if she'll stay there. If her family will stay in Wilcox, if they'll play high school level softball there, or if they might try to get up here into the city and get her into one of the competitive programs up here, like a South Point Catholic, like a Canyon Del Oro. And you know, again, we talk about that a lot with young stars and that we see and where they're going to come, where they're going to play football, some of the kids we've seen in youth football, and where their careers are going to arc. And I think we mentioned that with a couple of weeks ago with name off the top of my head, but his brother played at U of A, got a chance to see him play a whole lot of youth football. Then the family relocated to Phoenix, and now he's back committed to the University of Arizona. I'll have to pull it up. I'll pull up the new class of 25 on my sheet because the name is just escaping me right now. But you wonder, okay, so what high school is he going to go to? What high school is she going to go to? Are they going to try to maybe get to somewhere where there's a better opportunity? I'd love to see someone like Hattie McCumber stay in Wilcox and play for that high school and elevate that high school. Elevate Wilcox to to a state championship level. I think that would be just because, again, she's going to be seen. People know who she is, and she's going to have tremendous, tremendous opportunities to play softball at a high level, I think, no matter where she ends up going to high school.
Tough choice, right? Because to be the first to do it at a school that you grew up locally, right? I mean, that's legend status. Versus I would like to compete with people of my age group who are at the highest level, which tends to be in a bigger city area, and that whole debate back and forth coming from a smaller area around the outskirts of a bigger town. But I agree with you. I think it's tough. Softball maybe a little different than football, basketball, because you're talking about maybe you're in Texas, you got 70,000 fans coming to see you at a bigger high school type of thing. But I think you're still with summer ball, and you're going to have a lot of opportunity to have some great competition. So whatever choice they make, her and her family decide to make will be the best for her, I'm sure. And it's just, that's a tough one. Tough choice.
Deshaun Hinton was the name of the U of A recruit for the class of 25. Came up playing with the Tucson Falcons, and his brother played at the U of A, and then the family went to play in Chandler, and he's a 3-star recruit out of Chandler High School who is now committed to play at the University of Arizona. But, man, when you saw that kid, I did a number of highlight packages on Deshaun Hinton when he was a youngster. I mean, you could just tell. You could tell when he was in youth football league that this is a kid who's going to have the opportunity to play college football at the next level. He's 5'10", 165, so it doesn't appear he's gotten a lot bigger. And that was always the concern, because he's just like this little kid running around, like, just making plays.
Right.
I think I told the story one time. He returned a kick for a touchdown. They called it back for a penalty. He lines up and returns the kick again for a touchdown, and then, like, collapses because he was so in the end zone because he was so tired.
Some dudes are built different. Like, some guys just stand out. Doesn't matter the sport.
Yeah.
Remember Reggie Bush's high school highlights?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I mean, that was, he was something to see at the high school level. All right, baseball. Your Diamondbacks played pretty well while we were gone.
Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff! Baseball stuff!
Yeah, in fact, they're 6-3 since we last talked to you. They had a chance to sweep the Cubs in Chicago, but they let the last game of that series slipped away. And then after losing the opener in Kansas City, they won 4 straight games, had a chance to sweep the Pirates as well at home this past weekend. It continues to be a pretty phenomenal season for one Ketel Marte.
Boy, oh boy, yeah. G1 Bay was the only Pirate on that play that had an accurate throw. And Marte hits it in the air. Deep to right center. That's gone. Stay hot, Ketel. Woo! My goodness, is he hot. He's scorching. That's 6 home runs in his last 13 games.
296 batting average right now, 23 home runs, 68 RBIs. I don't know. I mean, I would think he'll probably get to 100 ribs, but he's definitely going to hit 30 home runs this season. So he's going to be a 3,100 guy, and he could hit 300 in the process, having just a phenomenal season. Is Ketel Marte. That was from Saturday's game, which was the final of the 4 straight wins. The Diamondbacks made a deal while we were gone to shore up their bullpen. They got A.J. Puck from the Miami Marlins, the big, tall redhead, and he pitched in Sunday's game, which the Diamondbacks were leading at the time by a score of 2-1. He came in the 7th inning.
Left-hander comes set of the 1-2 on the way. Swing and a miss. I mean, that's just raw power. First, the 2-2 pitch here to the second baseman, Triolo. Swing and a miss. See you later. Fastball off the plate at 96, and it's another strikeout for Puck.
Bay smiling, too, because he knows he doesn't like this matchup. You can almost throw this ball anywhere.
Swing and a miss. Scott with a slider off the plate, and the inning is over. A.J. Puck strikes out the side in order in the 7th, and we go to...
Now, A.J. Puck was the closer for the Marlins last season. And so that's what you're putting into the back end of this bullpen. A guy who has closed before, knows how to do that. 4 strikeouts all the way already in 2 shutout innings since coming over in the trade. That's a pretty nice piece, and that's kind of what I figured when you're looking at the Diamondbacks. Are they going to make any large, great moves? I didn't think they'd probably do anything dynamic, but picking up a nice little arm in the bullpen, again, that's what it's so key down the stretch is getting guys like that. And so far, A.J. Puck, who's had some struggles, is off to a good start. Although, you know who's still struggling? One Mr. Paul Sewald.
0-1 the count. The pitch. A line drive to right field. Going back is Carroll, and it is over his head. It short hops the wall. Joey Bart with a dart to tie the game. He's into second with a pinch hit RBI double.
Yeah, Paul Sewald blows another save. You have an opportunity to sweep a series, but Sewald can't close the door in the 9th on Sunday, and the Pirates would score 4 in the 10th with the short situation with the runner starting at second base. D-backs would add 3 in the bottom of the 10th, but come up a run short, and they lose the final game of that series in extra innings. Torey Lovello says it is always the small things you've got to do to win those types of games.
As you unpack it, what I want to make sure that we do is we learn and grow from what took place in mostly the last 2-3 innings of the game. For the second time in a week, we failed to get pick up a bunt and execute and get a big out. You get that out, it changed the whole complex of the whole puzzle of the 10th inning. We don't get an out. We didn't do it in Chicago, cost us a game. So we will continue to coach that up. That is a huge out to get.
Indeed, you got to play defense. We went to the Tribe Phillies game on Friday, and the Phillies defense was so incredibly bad. It was almost like they came off their road trip on something. They could not catch the ball. They could not make the right throws, and those are the kind of things that get you beat in a one-run ball game. The weekend was a homecoming for Nick Gonzales. It did not end well. We will get into that coming up in the next hour. It's DK on the Sports Tip. JW Madden is here. Cricket is also here. We want to talk to you today. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With a crash that's clearing at Ajo and Mission and Ajo Way for a collision clearing, and also widening work continuing along Twin Peaks Road between Silver Bell and Quarry Road. A 15% chance of rain today and 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Play social games online for free. Head to ChumbaCasino.com now to join the Chumba fun and experience the thrill of the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void or prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. The United States earned 4 more medals in the pool on night 3, while world record holder Summer McIntosh of Canada won gold in the women's 400 individual medley. Americans Katie Grimes won silver, and Emma Wyant took bronze. The 22-year-old from Sarasota, Florida, says she's in good company alongside McIntosh.
She has set some unreal standards in this event and all of her events, and it's just really cool to see the sport growing and obviously be on a podium with 2 people who have done amazing things in the sport, and I'm just really happy to be here and contribute to Team USA.
Meanwhile, 4-time Olympic gold medalist Ryan Murphy earned bronze in the men's 100-meter backstroke final. Nevada native Luke Hobson came from behind to win bronze in the men's 200-meter freestyle final, finishing in a personal best. With this Summer Games update, I'm Erica Herskowitz, Westwood One Sports.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors, Gorilla Glue. Of course. It's incredibly strong and 100% waterproof and bonds, well, virtually everything. While you're at it, look for Gorilla Tape, a heavy-duty double-thick duct tape, and Gorilla Super Glue, great for all your quick fixes and repairs. There's also Gorilla Epoxy, Gorilla Wood Glue, Gorilla Construction Adhesive, of course. You get it. If you can break it, Gorilla can fix it. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Attention Tucson! We bring you every minute of Arizona men's basketball, both home and away, all season long. We are the home of the Arizona Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
You may not have any experience dealing with car wrecks, but Lerner & Rowe does. After your car wreck, you need an attorney to make sure your interests, like car repairs, medical bills, and lost wages, are protected. Finding the right attorney is actually easy. Just look for reputation, experience, and results. Lerner & Rowe has thousands of 5-star reviews, decades of experience, and we've recovered billions of dollars for our injured clients. Hurt in a wreck and need a check? Call Lerner & Rowe today.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
My heat and air work in a state of disrepair.
It's so hot and sticky. I can't stand this humidity. I'm melting.
So you can either check for hot flashes and duct or call Pixrock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
It's not hot flashes.
We're calling Pixrock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing right now at 520-492-0748.
Pixrock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok and been treated for eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 for more information. Disclosures by multiple Facebook whistleblowers suggest Instagram knows their social media platforms are highly addictive and cause eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation, but have done little to stop it. If your family has been impacted by social media addiction, you could be eligible for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 if you'd like to discuss a lawsuit. Text SOCIAL to 323232. Text the word SOCIAL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Motley Rice, attorney Jennifer Guy is responsible for this ad. Motley Rice, LLC is headquartered at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, 29464.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have Tucson covered from training camp to spring football and everything in between. No one covers Arizona football like we do. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 3 on a Monday. Back from vacation. Thank you so much for being a part of our show today. Talking Arizona Diamondbacks in the last half hour. The D-backs getting 2 out of 3 from the Pirates, and now the Washington Nationals will come to town to start a series tonight. 6:40 will be first pitch at Chase Field. And for the Diamondbacks, it'll be Jordan Montgomery on the bump. Still a high ERA on the season, 7-5, 6.11 on that earned run average. Mitchell Parker will pitch for the Nationals. He is 5-6, and an earned run average of 4.34. The Nationals, of course, were no hit over the weekend by Dylan Cease on the first side of their trip here out to the West Coast in San Diego. They are 8 games under 500, and probably, again, but these are teams that you won a series against a Pirate team that is right with you in this wild card situation. So that's, and again, you beat the Cubs too, who were another team that were right there with you in this wild card conversation. So right now, the Diamondbacks still are not in a wild card position, but they are just a half game behind the Mets, the surging Mets. Beat the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets, who are in the third spot. The Padres holding on to that second wild card position, and the Braves right now are still the front runners in terms of the wild card, 56 and 48. The D-backs are a half game up on the Cardinals, who are surging now as well. Don't look out, but St. Louis is right there. Again, I mentioned it was a homecoming for Nick Gonzales, Cienega High School grad, New Mexico State Aggie, and a first-round pick by the Pittsburgh Pirates, who is now in the big leagues, pretty much as a full-time player. The trip and weekend home, though, came to a not-so-happy end on Saturday.
Now, Nick Gonzales with the infield back. A chance to get one of those runs right back. Chops toward third. That will not do it. Suarez looks Cruz back, and Gonzales is hurt. Nick Gonzales cannot even get to first base. He pulls up lame, and he'll limp toward the dugout.
Yeah, unfortunately, you kind of saw that last ground ball he hit his last at bat. Almost felt like something was going on. Looked like it might be a groin, but God, I hope he's okay. I know, obviously, coming out of the box, he runs so hard out the box.
Oh, boy, it sure is a groin.
That from the Pittsburgh Pirates radio network. Indeed, a groin injury for Nick Gonzales. He was placed prior to Sunday's game on the 10-day injured list. That happened in the 6th inning of the game Saturday night at Chase Field. On the infield ground ball, on Sunday, Pirates general manager Ben Cherington said that Gonzales is expected to be out for weeks, not days. So difficult blow for the Tucson native. Gonzales was batting .258 on the season, 5 home runs, 39 RBIs in 65 games. Also playing strong defense. He had made just 3 errors at second base this season in 60 starts for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So disappointing end to the weekend for Nick Gonzales, and we obviously wish him a speedy recovery. Talking some Major League Baseball, let's tell you about how another former player with Southern Arizona ties did in a game yesterday. How about Rob Refsnyder of the Boston Red Sox, who were playing on national TV against the New York Yankees?
Rainbows never, ever come out on your phone the way that you can see them with your own eyes. We're both trying to snap a picture of it, and it's hard to see it.
It's sort of faint, but you do see the pink.
Here is a shot, high and deep into left field. It is gone! Rob Refsnyder, somewhere under the rainbow, goes deep, and the Red Sox are on the board. It is 4-1. That was a bolt.
Rob Refsnyder, the last man standing from the 2012 Arizona Wildcats national championship team. I mean, you got to give Rob Refsnyder a lot of props. I mean, this is a guy who has bounced around to a number of teams, and looked like he might be on his way out of the game, but just keeps showing up and has found himself a spot in this Red Sox organization. You remember former Arizona Wildcats athletics director Dave Hickey took a trip to Boston last year and saw Rob play in a game for the Red Sox. I believe this is his second full season in Boston. He's hitting .310. .310 with 5 home runs and 26 runs batted in. He's 33 years old, is Rob Refsnyder. But, again, still finding a way to make it happen in the big leagues. So good for Rob. Always great. It looks like he's in great shape. He's battled a number of injuries throughout his career, but that felt good because the Yankees were the team that drafted him, the team that he came up with and made his major league debut in 2015. This is actually his third season wearing a Boston Red Sox uniform. Played in 57 games in 22, 89 last year, has played in 62 games this year. Again, not a guy that plays necessarily every day, but a guy that can come in and give you some offense, and he's doing that right now for the Red Sox, hitting .310. So props out to Rob Refsnyder for his performance in Boston, hitting that home run. And the announcers were talking, J-Dub, about trying to get a picture of a rainbow on your phone. Doesn't that is as good as this phone technology is? It just I've had that happen a number of times when I've tried to get, like, especially at nighttime when you see like a really great moon or something.
I was going to say, like, I have gotten some good rainbow photographs here in just the last month, but it's almost impossible to get low light photos. Great daylight photos, but so many phones have a much harder time with low light quality.
It's hard, so hard. I mean, it looks like it, man. Like you can see it with your eye, and you think you can get that picture, and it just never quite comes out the way that you want it to.
That's why I don't take pictures of eclipses. I just wait for some professional with $100,000 worth of equipment in their backyard to post something else. That's what I do.
There you go. I mean, you can't. It was unbelievable. We were talking about that over the weekend. Just having a chance to go back to that and see that was something else. While we were gone, J-Dub, the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas came to an end. And boy, did it come to a Wildcat kind of end.
It sure did, DK. This is what it sounded like.
Rainbows never, ever.
That's actually what not sounded like, because that's what the last one sounded like. But this is what this sounds like.
If Miami gets a basket here on this possession, the game's over. Larson on the catch. Guarded by Pippen. Shot clock at 12. Ware with the screen. Larson keeps the bounce. Running shot is good. And Miami wins it. Pella Larson gets it done for the Heat.
My favorite part about that play, DK, if you got the chance to see it, was that was against Scottie Pippen Jr.'s defense.
Right.
And that guy had been the talk of the Summer League. There's obviously some more well-known guys like Jaime Jaquez Jr., but Scottie Pippen Jr. had been playing, great. And so to do that against a well-known defender, Pella maybe not known for having the ball in his. We talked a lot last year, DK, about Arizona, who's going to have the ball in
who's
his hands
going to take the last shot.
But I think that's a situation where you have your Summer League coaches, hey, I got it, this is our drafted rookie. This is a guy that we want to come in, our second round, should I say, pick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put the ball in his hands, late clock, and see what happens kind of thing. Because, if you listen to anybody from that team, it's just the same as it is regular season. It's all about the culture, Heat culture, and all this stuff. And every single one of those players I heard interviewed to a man talked about how they're just trying to play good team basketball. Normally, Summer League, DK, it's I'm here to show off for my fans, but that Heat team was there to win.
Yeah, they were there to win. It was pretty impressive for what they were able to do. Keyshawn Johnson, obviously, one of the players on that team as well, and Pella Larson getting the game-winning shot at the end. In fact, let's hear what Pella had to say about his performance in that final game and the Heat getting the victory.
A perfect stretch for you guys. You said you wanted to be a better team here in Vegas. Can you just tell me what was going through your mind at that last bucket to win the title?
Coach drew up a great play that we've run before in practice a bunch of times. They did a good job guarding it, and then I knew me and Khalil in the pick and roll is pretty dangerous. And we had shooters everywhere, so they didn't want to help. And then I just made it.
Coach was telling us that you would have more of a role as a defender, but showing up, hitting big buckets such as this, what do you think that you've showcased to everyone else about how high your ceiling is?
I think just my hunger, you know. I'm always hungry. I'm going to keep working. So I'm not going to stop.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pelle Larsson with the game-winning shot for the Miami Heat as they win the Las Vegas Summer League. So congratulations to him on having that opportunity. And now it's on to camp in the fall and hopefully a chance to make that Miami Heat roster and the opportunity to play in the National Basketball Association. Because, again, when you look at the fact, obviously, we're going into the fourth year of Tommy Lloyd, but the first three guys that were drafted out of that first Tommy Lloyd team were all players that were brought in here by Sean Miller. When you talk about Dalen Terry, when you talk about Christian Coloco, and then when you talk about Benedict Mathurin, all three of those guys were Sean Miller players. And then the next year, no Wildcats got drafted. So who's going to be the first drafted Tommy Lloyd era player in terms of player that Tommy brought here to Arizona? And Pella would fit into that because he came over that first year. Could Pelle Larsson be the first drafted Tommy Lloyd player to play in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to play. I think the Heat.
You think he'll definitely make the team?
Oh yeah. I think that Heat. If he went to any other franchise, but go watch last year's playoffs. Now, obviously, Butler was out. They had a couple guys injured. But, DK, in last year's playoffs, the Heat roster was comprised of 7 undrafted players in the rotation. 6 undrafted players in the rotation. Like, that's what they do. What they do is pick a guy who they believe has the skill set and determination that they can teach to do what they need, that one, like, micro skill that they can use to win games. And then 2 years into their career, they're in the rotation. Like, that's what the Heat do. So, yeah, I have no doubt Pella will get his opportunity to be a rotation player for that team. Maybe not in the first couple of months. He'll probably get some spot minutes off the bench. He might even go up and down. Who knows? But as far as what they drafted him to give him a shot in that rotation with the player core group that they have together. So, yeah, I have no doubt. I have no doubt that they're really high on Pelle Larsson for sure. And Keyshawn. I think they really like what Keyshawn brings as well. I mean, I think, even though he didn't get drafted, he would have been probably the next player off the board. And what he brought this summer before his little injury, highlight and tough defense. And that's kind of what they're known for. So I would not be surprised to see Keyshawn, maybe not rotation minutes this year, but somewhere down the line, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in rotation minutes either.
Real quick, J-Dub, the Suns, they made a trade today. They traded with the Hawks, acquiring E.J. Liddell in exchange for David Roddy. He was the player who had played so well for them in the Summer League, but it was a signing that maybe is of more interest in terms of the Suns.
Yeah, I mean, we talked last year about the one thing that probably the roster construction-wise, right before Mr. Ishiba took over, was that they maybe had a little too many of the same guy. Like we love Devin Booker. KD's obviously great. Beal and the other guys they brought on board. But many of those guys are slasher, driver, playmakers as opposed to guys who specifically are there to set up their teammates. And that's what they got. A guy who was, among the top 10 in assist numbers last year. I'd have to look up specifically on a really bad Wizards team, TK. So it'll be interesting to see. I know, he's young. He's only in his 7th year, I believe, in the NBA. He was on that Duke team in 2015 that won the NCAA title. Yeah, I mean, I remember him coming out of high school. There was a chance he might potentially come to the U of A. Really excited just to see what that Suns roster, DK, can do with a guy who's looking to put up 8 assists and not call his own number because there's just so many weapons on that team. They just need somebody consistently to set him up.
So Tyus Jones, the player that we are discussing, is signing with the Phoenix Suns, the guard. So, again, out of, like J-Dub said, played with the Duke ball club the brother of Trey Jones. Last year averaged 7 assists per ball game. Definitely something that the Suns have needed and were able to get this season. So we'll look to see exactly how that plays out. A young man who's been in the league for a long time with both Minnesota and Minnesota and Memphis, I should say, and last year playing and starting 66 games with the Wizards on a very bad Wizards team.
Yeah, bad Wizards team. He had some success there in Memphis as well. He was, a big part of their rebuilding before Ja Morant came around, and then he kind of lost that starting job. Ja Morant, a little bit, can offer a little bit more, I think, at the point guard position.
Among the best 6 men in the league.
Yeah, for sure. That was his role when Ja came in when he kind of gave up that role as the starter. But once again, I'm excited to see KD get an open catch and shoot, right? I mean, that's what you want. When you got like all these threats on the court, DK, you take advantage of it by having somebody set them up, and that's what they're looking to do with this trade.
All right, speaking of open catch and shoots, KD had a pretty good ball game. We'll get into that as well before we get out of here today. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Collision clearing at Ajo and Mission and Ajo Way. Roadwork Country Club in Glen. Southbound Country Club approaching Glen down to 1 lane. No left turns permitted from Country Club onto Glen. And about a 15% chance of rain today into this evening, 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Plumbing, they'll help you with drain cleaning, water treatment, sewer repairs, and replacements. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected plumbing experts at CoolWillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's CoolWillies.com. CoolWillies.com.
Drugs and crime are flowing into our communities through Joe Biden's open border, while the cost of living keeps going up for all Arizonans. More than ever, we need strong and effective leadership. That's why President Trump and law enforcement organizations endorse Juan Ciscomani for Congress. President Trump says, quote, "Juan has my complete and total endorsement," and says Juan is working hard to secure our border, defend our wonderful military and veterans, promote election integrity, and expand American jobs and the economy. Law enforcement trusts Juan to get them the resources they need. Juan is endorsed by the Arizona Fraternal Order of Police, the Arizona Police Association, and the Tucson Police Officers Association. President Trump and Juan Ciscomani will fight to secure the border and keep us safe, and they'll get the job done.
I'm Juan Ciscomani, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ciscomani for Congress.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400. Clones. When you want the Jim Rome Show, remember to tune in to 1290.
Oh, sweet.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is Tucson's home for the Jim Rome Show. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Trusting the process.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
Really? Really, really?
Really? Free.
That's our polar bear promise.
You don't need us telling you it's been hot.
Really hot. Really, really.
You just need to know, if your AC breaks down,
we'll arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in 1 day or your repair is free. William just said that.
It's the Alaskan AC
With
service
Alaskan
guarantee.
AC service guarantee. Hey, Gary was speaking.
Thanks. Like I was saying, we'll arrive
in 1 day or your repair is free. Okay, let's try this. At Alaskan Air Conditioning, we promise to be at your house in 24 hours or the fixing thing won't cost you any money.
What? What?
What? I just said with Alaskan With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
See, now that's easy to remember. It's a toe tapper. Really. Really, really, from AlaskanAC.com.
Android users, you can tune in to the home of the Wildcats by downloading our new app at the Google Play Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by Kohl's. This season, find everyday style at great prices at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. The U.S. women's soccer team clinched a spot in the Olympic quarterfinals thanks to a 4-1 victory over Germany yesterday. The Americans sparked by star Sophia Smith, who scored twice in the first half, and she got help from Mallory Swanson, who found the net once again. That's her third goal through just 2 games of the tournament. The U.S. is dominating so far in France, winning both matches in group stage by 3 goals. Under new head coach Emma Hayes, the squad could soon be reestablished as a superpower on the world stage. While the program has a legendary history, the Americans haven't captured a gold medal since 2012. They also suffered an early exit from the World Cup last year, which prompted U.S. Soccer to hire Hayes. The victory yesterday, a statement for the squad, since their German opponents have a higher world ranking. Team USA will close out group play on Wednesday against Australia. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Amy Lawrence on Westwood One.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
What's wrong? My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. I've got a sweet deal coming up later in the week. I will tell you about that as well here shortly, but right now let's talk a little Arizona Wildcat football. We are just a couple of days away, less than 48 hours from the first practice Wednesday at 9 a.m. The fellows will be on the field, and we cannot be more ready for football than we are here at Wildcats Radio 1290. This is the beginning of my 17th season covering Arizona athletics. Seen a lot of guys come through here. In fact, one of them is celebrating a birthday. We'll get to that as well today. But a new running backs coach. Well, they're all new coaches. There's very few holdovers except for Brett Arcee from last year's staff. But the new running backs coach is a gentleman by the name of Alonzo Carter, another one of the coaches who came down with Brent Brennan from San Jose State. This is a guy that has a lot of respect in the college coaching community. He has been with the Spartans since the 2017 season and now is going to take over the running back room here at the University of Arizona. He found a familiar face when he walked into the running back room here in Tucson. We'll get to that as well. But first, let's hear from Alonzo Carter a little bit. Again, we talk to a lot of these running back coaches. They all talk about protecting the football. It was a mantra of Scotty Graham and his running back room here on the Jedfish staff. It will continue to be that. And Alonzo Carter says, hey, we don't just talk about it. We got the receipts to prove it.
That's a big thing. In 2020, we was number 1 in the country. We had 0 fumbles on the season. Was the only team, tied for first in the country in that area. And 21 and 22, if you look at the track record where we came from, we've always been in the top 3 in the country as far as not losing fumbles and making sure that that's something that we emphasize. We make sure that that ball is chin, high and tight. We have our own little language that we use for that, but it's something that we're going to bring with us from where we were to over here. I don't even know what the numbers were last year as far as lost balls or lost fumbles. We just want to make sure that's something that you see every day. It's going to be a premium, especially in the running back room. That's going to be something you're going to hear me. If you want to hear me yell, you see a ball on that ground. That's when you really see me. But we really, really take pride in making sure that we take care of the football.
Well, and it's going to be interesting. We had we talked a little bit about Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Bill, on the show. He's transferring in from New Mexico. A lot of folks believe that he might be the guy that eventually emerges to the top. But the reality is, in college football nowadays, is you're going to have, as much as maybe some of our guys like David Adams don't want to hear this, you're going to have a number of guys running the football. And Rayshon Luke will tell you here shortly why that's important, but he's going to be one of them. He's a junior. Can you believe Speedy is a junior? And he's another one of those guys from the Trinity League. Servite, the Servite, go along with those Servite guys. He went to St. John Bosco, all out of that Trinity League in Orange County, California. And Rayshon is finally at the point where he is going to be at the forefront of the running back room, and he talks about all those guys that he learned from Michael Wiley to everyone else that he's been a part of in that running back room the last 2 seasons.
Just take away the leadership, how they just moved around the building, and they was always here, always active, always present, and just how they attacked it, practice, how they attacked it, the games, how they attacked it, the meeting rooms, how they studied, how they watched film, just all of it. I try and take each of it from each and all of us, Jonah to DJ Williams, all of them. We all learn from each other.
Yeah, so Rayshon Luke came out, again, he can run, and he came out of high school with a ton of offers. Arizona State, Boston College, Duke, Florida was on the list. Number of SEC schools. Georgia, some schools we're going to be seeing in our new league, like Kansas, all on the list. But one of the schools to where he almost committed was, in fact, San Jose State.
Me and Coach Zoe go back from my junior year of high school, so he's always been a good coach as far as being when he was at San Jose, just how he was keeping me on my feet as far as with my grades, knowing what I want to do with football, and just being there teaching me and my family this whole process. It was just amazing getting recruited by him, and now that he's here is just even amazing. We get to actually build it even closer. Now it's not from like a phone, it's now in person with him together. So we just meeting with each other, always talking about life, of course, plays, film. So it's just getting better.
And Luke went on to say that one of the reasons he made the decision to stay was because of Alonzo Carter being a part of this new staff. Carter talking about recruiting Speedy and being one of the guys that got away from this staff up in San Jose.
It's ironic because if you watch the Army All-American game, he had the Arizona hat, the San Jose State hat, and the Louisville hat. And we actually thought we had him. He was very number one recruit on my board at that time. Had an opportunity to recruit him out of St. John Bosco. He was a 10-3 sprinter. So everything about him, I knew his strengths and weaknesses and was looking forward to working with him. So here it is. You fast forward 2 years later, I'm able to still do that. I think he can be a major part of what we're doing in our offense, just improving, getting his weight up, getting stronger, improving in catching the football as well, and then being huge in the special team space. I think that's a challenge I have for him. There's so many ways you can affect the football game. It's not just by running or catching the ball. You can change the game in special team space as well as being a very good change of pace running back, a third down back, which means you're going to have to know how to pre-snap, read, block, protect. We have one of the best quarterbacks in the country, so he needs to be able to count on you that you're able to ID and protect things. So I'm going to find ways to get him on that football field because he's a very dynamic player. He's real humble. He's a great teammate, and he's one of our returners, and I just want to see him shine because he's earned the opportunity to do that.
And one of the things that I like when you hear Speedy Luke talk about his story and why he wanted to come here, he's not a joiner. And we talk about so many kids that want to go to successful teams, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But there's also those kids that want to go somewhere maybe that hasn't had a lot of success and raise that level and put their own school on the map. And Speedy says that was one of the reasons that he wanted to play here at Arizona.
That's why I came here. That's why I came here. I really didn't know anything about Arizona, of course. And when I first heard about him, knowing that Noah was committed here, I played against Noah my whole high school careers. Jacob Manu played against him my whole high school careers. T-Mac wasn't committed yet, but just knowing that he has some heart here, it was just like, man, why would I go somewhere that's already kind of been good rather than come here and let's make it good. Let's make Tucson better again. Let's make it what it has been, what it's used to being. So that was my mindset on my recruiting, and that's why I came here.
I like that. I like guys that think like that want to define their own success, build a program up like we heard from Josh Baker, having been here when it was 0-5 and 70-7. And being on the backside now of 10-3 and winning a game and a big bowl game over a program like the Oklahoma Sooners. That's what you want. And we mentioned earlier, there's a bunch of guys. It's going to be fun. If there's a battle that's going to be fun to watch when camp starts on Wednesday, it's going to be this running back room. Bill Krosky Merritt. Kedrick Riscano, who we don't know a whole lot about, but was at Ole Miss. Had that kind of talent, recruited by Michigan State. So this is a kid with a lot of talent. Quali Connolly, who's coming down from San Jose State. And then Speedy Luke. Those are the guys at the top of the room. And then how about the other Luke? Tucson's Luke. Caden Luke, who don't think he's not going to find a way. When you talk about, you heard Zoe Carter talking about special teams, don't think Caden Luke's not going to find a way on that field, because that if there was money on the board at the Desert Diamond Casino, I would take that bet in a heartbeat that Caden Luke is going to find his way on that field. Will it be this season? Maybe not, but he's going to find his way on that field. And Rayshon Speedy Luke understands that. And he said that is not a problem for him, that there may be a running back rotation here at Arizona.
You want to be available. So, of course, in high school, you getting the ball every play. It ain't going to end well for you if you're trying to go to the NFL. So you kind of want to be available as well. So, like he said, it just comes with growth and understanding that you kind of need to take less reps so that you can be available if you want to have an extended career.
I got a question. There's the ironic nickname of Tiny for the dude who's 450 pounds.
Tiny, yeah.
Has there ever been anybody nicknamed Speedy that was an ironic? I've never heard. If your nickname, DK, is Speedy,
right?
You can move. Because I don't think that I've ever heard anybody use that ironically.
So yeah, the Speedy is not the slow. Speedy is not the slow fullback guy.
Right? No, they don't they don't call Shaquille O'Neal Speedy just for fun because he can't move around quite so good at 50. But yeah, no. If Speedy's your nickname, you got some jets.
Well, again, and I like what Alonzo Carter said. We got to find a way to get him there. It's almost like when I think about Rayshon Luke, I kind of think a lot about Devontae Neal back in the day, who was a player that they just could never really figure out. He had all this talent, he had all this speed, but they just never really could figure out how to get him in the offense. And I hope that does not happen with Rayshon Luke. And whether it's getting him on special teams, getting him back there, returning some kicks, because, again, we talk about that every year. The lost art of the return game and how it's just you don't see that much anymore.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Speedy have a bit of a nagging injury coming out of camp last year? And then, the third or fourth game, he got some action and he had some kind of injury, right? It feels like he's one of those guys when the coaching staff is ready to give him some opportunities to show what he can do, that's when maybe an injury or two has hit thus far in his career here.
Well, he definitely had the injury the first year, after he had a really good ball game, and then he got hurt down the stretch. And again, that's another reason why you've got to have a number of guys. You got to having a 3-4 deep running back room is never a bad thing. But yeah, I want to see Rayshon Speedy Luke flourish this year And the running back room is going to be one fun battle to watch as we get ready for camp here.
All I even meant by the injury thing is I don't think I've seen Speedy Luke have an opportunity, DK, over the course of a regular season.
Right.
To build what you've worked on over the summer into your game shape in the fall and then through your game to week game day situation. I don't know that we've seen him with a natural cycle yet. So looking forward to seeing what he can do. Obviously, coaching staff's high on him.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We'll have more Olympics coming up for you. I got to get to my diatribe on the opening ceremony. My buddy Daryl Joyner wrote a great piece. We'll get to that next, as well as recap some of what happened with the USA men's basketball team. It is DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Grant Road west of Dodge Boulevard, widening work and very rough pavement to move you through eastbound and westbound Grant Road west of Dodge Boulevard down to 1 lane, and currently some slowing to get you through. 15% chance of showers and about 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Are you ready for a new job? Express Employment Professionals helps tens of thousands of people find jobs every year and never charges a fee. Find your next job with Express Employment. Go to ExpressPros.com to find your location. That's ExpressPros.com.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See? We didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in Southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Kathleen Wynne, Republican for Congress. As bad as Joe Biden has been, Kamala Harris is even worse, and it's critical President Trump be reelected in November. But reelecting Donald Trump is only part of the job. President Trump needs strong conservatives to stand with him in Congress, and that's why I'm running against Juan Ciscomani, because Ciscomani has failed Southern Arizona conservatives, voting again and again with Ruben Gallego, Raul Grijalva, and Greg Stanton, and against Arizona Republicans for Biden's spending, Biden's agenda, and Biden's debt. I'm Kathleen Wynne, Republican for Congress, and I approve this ad because Southern Arizona needs strong conservatives in Congress to stand with Paul Gosar, Eli Crane, and Andy Biggs to support Trump's America First agenda. I ask for your vote in Tuesday's primary because it's time to stand up for what we believe. I'm Kathleen Wynne, and this is paid for by Win for Arizona. Trump tough.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok and been treated for eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 for more information. Disclosures by multiple Facebook whistleblowers suggest Instagram knows their social media platform forms are highly addictive and cause eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation, but have done little to stop it. If your family has been impacted by social media addiction, you could be eligible for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 if you'd like to discuss a lawsuit. Text SOCIAL to 323232. Text the word SOCIAL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Motley Rice, attorney Jennifer Guy is responsible for this ad. Motley Rice LLC is headquartered at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina 29464.
This is Maggie Gray with a Sports Minute sponsored by Wrangler. It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles. The U.S. men's basketball team won their opening game in convincing fashion against Serbia on Sunday, yet one of the major headlines was that Jason Tatum didn't play in the game. Who cares? It may be an all-star team for the Americans, but it's not the all-star game. Winning actually matters here. I'm Maggie Gray.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Attention, are you or a loved one suffering complications after taking Ozempic or Wegovy? These medications may be linked to serious gastrointestinal illnesses. If you've been hospitalized and diagnosed with gastroparesis, chronic vomiting, deep vein thrombosis, or experienced intestinal blockage requiring surgery, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call 888-900-LAW-1 today for a free consultation. That's 888-900-LAW1. Paid for by Tort Defenders. Tort Defenders is not a law firm and does not provide legal services.
Always find what you love at Total Wine & More. With so many bottles to choose from at the lowest price, it's easy to find your favorite Cabernet or a new single-barrel bourbon to try. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine & More. Spirits not sold in Virginia and North Carolina. Drink responsibly. B21.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Final phases of today's show. Looking forward to getting out to talk to the coaches tomorrow for Arizona football. And that is the official beginning of fall camp. Practice will begin on Wednesday. Players in town. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is college football season. We also have the Olympics going on, and that is going to give you today's Desert Diamond Casino replay.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Chase Budinger and Miles Evans, a United States men's beach volleyball pair, win their opening game.
Beach volleyball competition. The atmosphere here is bonkers. Why not? It's a primetime matchup. The United States taking on France. There's the USA duo making their Olympic debuts, Miles Evans and Chase Budinger. The French squad, Youssef Crew and Arnaud Gauthier. They are France's best team, and this is a team that is undefeated against the United States so far in international competition. Blocked. Chase Budinger showing you some of the athletic ability that he has. Budinger on the left, and the shoot is perfect. You don't have to hit it 3 times. USA has scored 7 of the last 8 points. They're humming. Gauthier with the serve. Budinger off the net, and he goes right down the middle. In the second set, the Americans have opened up a 3-point lead. Crew, blocked by Budinger. Gauthier, he's blocked, and it's in. No, Chase Budinger, 5 blocks, 5 kills, 2 aces. Working on a triple-double.
And about 5 forces out of bounds, right? So he scored 10 points on just his block here.
Budinger has been aiming for that middle. He's been super successful. And here's another bad pass, same serve.
Budinger gonna get a spiking attempt here. Off speed touch. United States trying to wrap it up. First match point. for the Americans. And it's over. Now the American fans delirious. Chase Budinger and Miles Evans off to a great start in Olympic competition.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Roof. Budinger. I like that. I don't know who that guy announcing that was, but he was pretty good on that one. I'll have to go back and listen to him again next time Chase and Miles hit the sand. All right, so good start there for Miles and Chase in beach volleyball. Good start for the American men's basketball team, who have kind of been the life of the party so far in Paris, including Anthony Edwards, who not only wants to take on all countries, but I think he wants to take on a few athletes in the American contingent.
Sam, they said they smacked you 21-0.
And what, ping pong?
No, that's them right there. Actually, this is perfect.
I got some people talking about they're going to beat me in ping pong 21-0. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm not having it. 11-0.
So these people he was referring to was the U.S. women's national team. The follow-up is today, DK. He and some of his teammates were in the stands to support them.
There you go. That's what you like to see. I mean, there's been a lot of star power around these Olympics. I mean, they keep showing our guy Tom Cruise, and he's apparently over there, and Snoop Dogg has been all over it. Yeah, he's been all over it too, especially out at the gymnastics. So a lot of star power that's there. But how about Katie and Curry jiving it up about the Olympics and international stars of the Olympics?
Outside of Team US, who do you think will be the biggest star this basketball tournament?
The biggest
star?
Star?
Yeah.
What, individual player?
Yes.
Giannis? Giannis, maybe? Jokic?
We got some options.
Yeah. Our game is global now, man. So all these guys are huge stars in their own ways, you know.
Did you see that thing where they said the Dream Team played against 9 NBA players, like 60-something?
Yeah, we're playing against 65, 64 NBA players now, and you know, so they're all the best of the best in the world, you know. So,
who are you looking forward to the most to play against?
Whoever's in the gold medal game.
Nice.
Great answer.
Thank you.
Well, in the way that KD shot the ball in Game 1, they might be on their way there.
And here comes Kevin Durant. He'll replace Booker. And he hears it from the United States fans here in Lille.
The all-time leading scorer
in Olympic history. U.S. Olympic history, and playing in his 4th Olympics, past Carmelo Anthony in Tokyo, and looking for his 4th gold medal, which would be a new record.
How cool is that, man?
So awesome. White, the cross, the kick, swing.
There
Durant.
You go. What's his name?
Three.
What's his name?
You know who he is.
You know who he is.
You know exactly who he is. Easy money sniper. Off the bench and into the scoring column. Get it in for White. Off the Davis screen. Durant. That's way too much space. Nylon. Kevin Durant. 2 for 2.
He just brings a different dynamic to this team that no one has seen yet in this tournament.
Durant on the pull, and he's 3 for 3. James, Durant, and Edwards, the 5 to start this second quarter for Steve Kerr. His coaching staff excellent as well. Eric Spoelstra, Tyronn Lue.
Man.
Oh, he can't miss. Kevin Durant is lethal. See the turnover numbers piling up for both teams just a bit. Adebayo, kick it. Durant over Jokic.
He hot.
Oh, yeah.
He hot.
Kevin Durant.
Just give him the ball. Just give him the ball.
Jokic was in his grill, and it did not matter. 14 for KD. Durant.
Right back at it.
Kevin Durant. Splash.
Have we ever seen anything like this? I don't think we ever seen anything like this.
I mean, we said that with Victor Wembanyama yesterday, and quite honestly, he might become the next one. 2 for 1 opportunity here. Durant takes advantage.
Okay.
For 3.
Okay.
Kevin Durant is making it rain in Lille.
Listen, y'all, America, y'all know him as Kevin Durant. I know him personally. His pronouns are he, him. Screen, there you go.
James looking, finding, Durant, fading, Durant hitting.
Oh, my.
Kevin Durant owning Lille in the first half. And Spike approves. 21 points for Durant, 8 for 8 from the floor, and he's given the United States a 9-point lead at the half here in Lille.
His pronouns are he, him.
Yeah, he is him. That's for sure. He's always been, I remember that dude as a freshman at Texas, and I saw the numbers he was putting up. I got to go watch this dude play, and yeah, he's always been that guy.
17 minutes off the bench, 23 points on 8 of 9. He and Devin Booker combined to shoot 12 of 15 from the floor and make 9 of 10 threes.
You don't see KD with a big old smile all the time because he's a very competitive, serious guy on the court. But after he made that, I think the 4 for 4 DK, he had the biggest smile on his face. Okay, guys, and you could just tell the rest of the team they know who KD is. Whatever you got to do, get him the ball because he couldn't miss.
Let's hear from Steve Curry. Steve Curry.
Stephen Kerr.
Okay, say Steve Kerr, Stephen Curry 3 times fast. Let's hear from Steve Kerr on KD and his performance.
It was incredible, but not surprising given what I've seen from Kevin in the past. I've said it before. I think he's the most skilled basketball player I've ever seen. The game just comes so easily for him, and a long layoff like that doesn't seem to bother him, and he was brilliant tonight. Obviously, just shifted the game as soon as he got on the floor.
One of my favorite concepts in life, DK, is the whole grain of salt thing, and the truly who the statement is coming from means everything. And when Steve Kerr, of all people, who played with Tim Duncan, who played with Michael Jordan in his prime, says that Kevin Durant is the most skilled basketball player he's ever seen, it carries a little bit more weight.
All right, we will. We'll get to my friend Dyrel's history lesson on the opening ceremonies tomorrow. We did not get to that today. Thanks to Austin Scott for coming in to joining us. Thanks for John Perlman from FC Tucson as well. His name is J.W. Madden. Her name is Cricket. My name is David Kelly. That is our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, 3 o'clock, right here, Wildcats Radio, 1290, DK on the Sports Tip. Have a great night.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Widening work on Twin Peaks Road between Silver Bell and Quarry Road has started, and road crews started the work on the north side of Twin Peaks Road at Quarry Road, and then road crews will move to the east. We have a slight chance of showers this evening and 98 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Welcome to the ultimate playground for online social casino enthusiasts. Get ready to live the Chumba life and play over 100 online casino-style games for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. What a day for the U.S. men's gymnastics team. Frederick Richard, Brody Malone, Asher Hung, Paul Judah, and Steven Nedorosik won Team USA's first medal since Beijing 2008. The American men took bronze after a mostly error-free showing in the artistic gymnastics final. Japan took home the gold. China claimed the silver. Nedorosik, the former pommel horse world champion, went last and sealed the third-place finish.
It was a really long day leading up to that moment. I thought about it before, about how I get to be the last person that goes to the Olympics, and I framed that in my head as a positive, I can be the exclamation point.
The U.S. men compete again in the individual all-around Wednesday. The women's team final takes place tomorrow night. Also on day 3, the U.S. women's basketball team beat Japan 102-76. With this Summer Games update, I'm Erica Herskowitz, Westwood One Sports.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC. What's
What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying?